can see it's not just me. So many others have stood where I stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. They call us problem child. We spend our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth gone wild. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth gone wild. Let it get wild. Yo!
To the Nyla Rose, Nyla Beach, native Nyla Rose the Beach.
We saw last week on AEW Dynamite.
Bam! Down with the best friend. Bum. Sorry. Thunder, Rosa, she's Rosa. Thunder, she's Rosa.
Ruby Soho, Ruby Soho.
I know you would love that. I knew you would love that.
Ruby Soho. Destination no.
From Montreal to Memphis, parlez-vous français? Tell all the girls the Rouges are on their way. They don't like heavy metal, they don't like rock and roll, but all they like to listen to is Barry Manilow. They're all American boys, all American boys, all American boys. They're all American boys.
They're all American boys, dude.
Still my favorite clip of our show.
I love that clip.
It is pretty good. Actually, my favorite clip is one we can't use because WWE keeps blocking our streams.
Fucking Rodman, man. Rest in peace,
I love
Rodman.
Rodzilla. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pin Down. We are back. Is this the first stream we've done since Mania?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
On this channel, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. We're back. Mania was good. I don't care what anyone says. It was good. Afterwards from Mania, what we're talking about, the last little bit, not so much.
No,
I did watch NXT this week. It was okay. It was decent. But yeah,
Raw was good.
Oh boy,
I thought Raw was pretty good.
Yeah, Raw was all right. SmackDown last night was something apparently.
Smack. JCJ and Rhea are carrying that show. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. It's wow. We're really in the post WrestleMania slump quick, aren't we, boys? This is
we're here.
This is not good.
We're here, boys.
Yeah. Welcome everybody back to the show. We're here to talk about a couple things. Of course, our main thing we're going to talk about today is the Hulk Hogan Real American documentary series on Netflix. We all watched it basically the first week it came out, which was last week, and I think we all got some stuff to say on it. I don't think we thought it was bad. I think there's probably some stuff missing.
I think
we'll
probably the best.
We'll get to it.
Yeah,
we'll get to it because we have a lot of stuff to talk about. We got Mr. T who doesn't know how his mic works. We got, by the way, tech upgrade, dude. He just unlocked the newest level in the tech tree. Mr. T got an actual good mic.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, which means he's only, whenever he has weird noises coming out of his mic, it's 100% on him now, guys. So you can blame Mr. T and not his shit tech. So if we could get a round of applause there for that, that's great.
Yeah.
It's great to hear. Trey, he's got some shit incoming, dude. He's literally about to
it's coming. But
he's about to prestige and God, dude. Like
But I am inside, so you're not gonna hear any birds, and you should not hear
no
any
birds. He's currently on location in his house. That's the location he's calling in from. We got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, so I think we should just get into it. You guys just want to get into the whole New Day parting ways of the company today?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Okay.
Because that happened this morning.
It did. It just happened like today. I was out and about and I saw it on my phone. I was like, oh crap. Wow. Like we lost a couple people. Now, of course, last week there was a ton of people who were released. The entire Wyatt family. We were all in a VC, and as soon as it started happening, we just happened to be all talking in Discord, and we're like, "Oh shit, this guy got fired. This guy got it was like Joe Gacy's gone. That's weird. Why is Joe Gacy gone?" And then it's like Nikki Cross is gone. I'm like,
Nikki Cross.
Oh god, they're purging everyone.
Bo Dallas.
I think the last one to go was Eric Rowan. I was holding on hope, dude. I was like, Eric Rowan WWE Championship run confirmed. Are we getting it? Are we finally getting Eric Rowan going to the? But yeah, no, it ended up sadly that he was let go too. And then oh my god, how many other people were let go? It was
Aleister
a
Black,
colossal amount.
Aleister Black,
Zelina Vega.
Dante Chen from NXT.
That one was the worst because like he was supposed to be a part of the angle for Mania this year.
Yeah, with Randy and Cody. Yeah.
And he went from being like almost an integral part of that to being out of the company within what, 2 months?
A month. Yeah, 2 months, a month. Yeah. Because he beat Randy. People forget he beat Randy in like February. Clean.
Yeah,
if I remember.
That was probably they were setting it up, and then they switched what they were doing, and then had nothing for him, and then just said, "Oh fuck it, we'll let you go."
Kyrie's the other one. I was a little questioning because y'all know I'm not as uber negative on certain releases like most of the IWC are, but the Kyrie one was like, she's middle of a story. Y'all were like that's. What the whole Asuka?
She was literally on Raw like 2 days before they let her go.
Yeah.
Well, there was more news that came on that. Apparently, she requested the release to go back to Japan. So I guess she was homesick and just like, I'm not really doing nothing here. Let's be real.
Isn't she married to Evil though?
No, that's Io.
That's Io.
That's Io. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was about to say if because I was thinking like, oh, who's married to? If she was, and then she's homesick, and then her husband debuts like 2 days later on fucking NXT, that would have been wild. Which, by the way, Evil's left New Japan, debuted on NXT. He showed up, and he's obviously going to beat Tony D'Angelo for that.
Yeah, he's probably the guaranteed next champion. Yeah,
I don't think it's actually going to help matters for NXT, but that's just me.
No, but I mean, it's. I don't know what Tony D'Angelo that thing is. That's a whole other story. But yeah. Again, basically, there was a ton of releases. Like it was a lot. It was future and what we would call. I called it Future Endeavors Friday. Yeah, it all happened like right
Black
before
Friday.
SmackDown.
Black Friday.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't get this on for this Friday, so a week later plus a day, we're getting that. Yeah, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods have gone. This is a big one, I think, because I mean the last
they've been there
decade?
forever. Kofi specifically is 2008. He came in 2007. He came in late 2007, 2008.
Okay, so basically 20 years of being on WWE TV. That's a long time. Mm-hmm. And by the way, broke Demolition's record for the longest tag title run. Now that got beaten by the Usos afterwards, anyways, but still. That's big. Like we're not talking. I think with the other ones, it's like, okay, well, they weren't really doing a whole lot with this person or that person. I think this one is like, okay, this is actually kind of a bigger deal.
Yeah.
Right? Like they weren't doing anything with them more recently, but
They put
I
him with
mean, these
Grayson
guys are going to go
Waller,
down as
for
one of the
fuck's
best tag teams WWE's ever
Yeah,
had.
objectively,
longevity.
objectively. Yeah, because they were there forever. I mean, Xavier Woods has been there since what, like 2000? He came in like 2014.
Well, I mean, to answer Gravy's question real quick, WWE owned the channel, so I just assume they'll get probably Tyler Breeze or somebody else who has some, I guess, gaming knowledge to take over the channel.
Or do they keep him on with that, but just not on a wrestling role?
I don't think they will,
that.
because I mean, if these guys go to AEW, I don't think that they're going to be associated with the channel at all.
Well,
I think
yeah,
that's
if
pretty much done.
I mean, if they're going to go to AEW, yeah, but he may go back to TNA.
I guess,
yeah, but
Creed was in TNA. To be fair, he was.
He was, but I don't think he's going to go there because I mean, let's be real. We were talking about earlier. TNA is just a bunch of rejects for WWE and AEW people. So I think if anything can happen,
it's rough right now.
Yeah. So
or
if
does he
happens,
does he just hang it up? Maybe.
No, sadly, I think they'll go to AEW. I think they'll go to AEW, and I think they'll challenge the Bucks.
Yeah, we're finally gonna get like Xavier Woods gay love angle with
golf clap.
If the reports are true, they're saying that Motor City Machine Guns is also going to AEW, and so is the New Day. So right there is two fresh new tag teams that FTR and the Bucks could wrestle with.
Which means you actually have a tag division.
Like, to me, I don't think there's any worth New Day being in AEW because you don't have Big E, and Kenny Omega's not even part of the Elite no more on TV.
No.
So it's like you can't even do it. Like, you couldn't even do like 6-man tag matches for the titles and stuff like that because like no one cares. And it's like, I don't think that people are clamoring to see Kofi and Creed to take on the Bucks for the tag titles. Like, I don't think anyone want that.
FTR, or like, I guess if Edge and Christian stay around, you know, Edge and Christian, it's like, and I said this off stream. Remember a year ago, everybody was saying New Day were washed.
Yeah.
Like, literally. But we're doing the fake outrage thing again.
Yeah.
That's, sorry, Mark.
I don't know if
that's how I feel right now. Sorry.
I don't know if it's fake outrage because, like,
not from everybody, just certain people. Honestly, certain people on Twitter.
Yeah, they weren't doing anything good with them. Like, the whole Kofi's fucking weird ass Amish beard is like negative aura.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Xavier Woods wore the weird ass fucking gimp outfit, if you remember, for a while.
Yeah, that was weird. And then they fucking threw Grayson Waller and
Grayson Waller with
the Owen Hart of the fucking New Day, which was not good.
Out of all people, I thought he would be released with Xavier and him today because it's like, why is this guy on my TV? He should just be doing.
What are we doing with him?
He did do the job to Oba. He did do the job to Oba on Raw, so I guess he's just going to be a job guy. I think that's just all it's going to be.
Probably for a year, and then they'll let him go. But again, like, this is the thing. What they do all this stuff. Like, they did that huge angle with Big E, and that was a really fucking good angle.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome, and we were all like, "Dude, fine, okay, we're cooking with the New Day. What do we have next?" And then they started going after Rey Mysterio, and I was like, "Okay, this is a start, but like, okay, where do we go from here?" And then
they got the tag titles, and then they had a nothing.
Well, they got the tag titles a couple months too late, like.
Yeah, and then they fought the Viking Raiders,
did promos and left, and that's it. And it's like. They literally had like nuclear levels of heat. People fucking hated them, and it was the best type of shit. They were like fucking Dom Mysterio levels of hate they were getting. At one point higher, like, and they just wasted it. That's not on these two guys. That's on creative.
No, it's on creative, and plus, but I also feel like, to me, like, I don't think a lot of people can say what they want. People are like, oh, we cared about that whole heel turn. I think you guys cared about it for a week, and after that, it was just like, okay, these guys are back on my TV, and I don't care.
There was no development.
The problem was
it stalled out, and that's the problem.
The problem with it too was they didn't cut any promos a week later explaining their actions. They just stood there and they did the whole boo thing over
Yeah.
and over.
They
and
did,
Then they
and then you know what they did? Remember, they did the promos where they would show up on Raw
And
during the
Bird's Nest.
commercial break in the US.
Mhm.
So people in the
Yep.
US aren't seeing it. Now, people internationally are getting to see it, and people in the US might see it after the fact. But they
the clip.
like that was just dumb. Like
Yeah,
I get
that
if
was
you
dumb.
have like a store, if you have someone who isn't doing a whole lot, there's a little bit of a stalled out thing. Have them go out, do the promo thing and the Okerlund position thing, right?
Yeah.
You can do that. That works out a bit. But not when someone has like red hot energy. Like when you're really like, we're burning up the thermostat with these guys,
Mhm.
and we're like, let's put them in the crowd during the commercial break.
Yeah.
That's bad booking. That's
and like-
really bad booking.
And like you said, Cream, they won the tag titles at WrestleMania. When realistically, I would have had them won the tag titles probably at Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
Honestly.
yes, because the angle was December. I'd have them go in, and this new type of attitude they have, they feel more energized. You could have given a lot of reasons as to why logically they would go in and win those titles. Not to mention that they are one of the best tag teams WWE's ever had,
Yes,
right?
but not wait
Storyline-wise. Let's go with
3-4
that.
months and didn't put them in a boring feud with the War Raiders.
Dude, yeah, that was like, and it didn't help the War Raiders any either. Like it did nothing. It hurt everyone involved. That's bad creative. Like I don't know, maybe the AI wrote that one, but yeah, with these guys, I feel like WWE has to look at this and be like, this is a failure on our parts, because it is. It's not these two guys who failed. They did. I mean, they fucking went above and beyond multiple times to get over. They always did decently well. Even at their worst, they were just kind of there and people still liked them. They're like, oh, okay, it's a New Day match, right? And then it got to the point where like we were just like, I don't want to fucking see these guys anymore. When they added Grayson Waller and all that stuff, like everything after WrestleMania, actually going into Mania, if I'm being completely honest, was bad. It was just people, they got fucking X-Pac heat, bro. They got like,
Go
no
away,
one
Heat.
wanted them there. Yeah, go away Heat. And it's not their fault. There's only so much you can polish a turd. Right?
Yep.
You can try your best, but it's still a turd. You know, it's still gonna stink. And that's the problem with the creative. And like, look, Triple H isn't the worst creative person out there. I mean, fuck, we could talk about AEW's creative all day and the problems it has, but it's not good right now.
Yeah.
It's definitely not good, especially not with TKO coming and interfering.
Mm-hmm.
Running interference to try to get like fucking Pat McAfee involved, or the fact that they're pushing them to use AI.
That too.
Like, that's horrific. You're not even doing your job. Like, oh my God, we can say all we want about the problems of Vince McMahon. Personally, also booking wise, there was a lot of problems that Vince had. But holy shit, he never fucking used AI. You could at least say, well, he may have made a mistake, but at least it was because he tried something.
Well, before we
Even Tony Khan, right? Tony Khan doesn't use AI for booking. At least you can. Well, that we know of. He might fucking start now.
He did. Tony did use AI in 2023. Yes, that's a legit thing.
Fuck me. Well, that explains
I think
a lot.
I vaguely remember that.
I was about to give him like a huge compliment,
Like,
but fuck that.
Here's
Yeah,
my
never
thing
mind.
about that. Before we go on and like read the article right here, my thing is this: I don't mind people using AI to come up with a better structure for a story, but when you rely for it to actually book for you and actually make a good storyline and stuff like that, you're fucked. You're just
And
fucked.
don't use it.
I do
for
have a
vignettes.
problem because these guys are getting paid money because they're apparently talented at coming up with storylines
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
formatting said storylines. Then I have a problem with that. Like, are you actually good at your job if you're having to use this like crutch?
No, but I do think that sometimes
that's what AI is for creative stuff. It's a fucking crutch.
no, it is. But I'm saying I think sometimes people do get like burned out. It's like, okay, we gotta have a hot money angle right now. What are we gonna do? Michael, you got any ideas? I ain't got one fucking idea, boss. I'm still talking to Bam Bam in my mind. You know what I mean? Like, people get fried. And I think that's fine to like type in. It's like, hey, come up with a good storyline and see what you can do with that. And if it's dog shit, then you ain't gotta use it. But I mean, for an outline, hey, new fresh match. Cody versus I don't know.
Would be even better. You know what you could do? You could reach out to people who are writers, or like they always get like stand-up comedians and shit to come in and write segments, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Tony
Here's
Hinchcliffe.
an idea. Set up a thing, right? Where it's not public, not everyone can apply, but you go to people and say, hey, look, send us an idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just send us a spec. Basically the equivalent of a spec script, right? Where TV show, where people will like, okay, this is my episode of, I don't know, Chicago fucking Med or some shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just some fucking shitty show, but I've made my own script of it. We'll get people to do that with storylines. And by the way, none of it has to be public. You keep it very private. And if someone does a good job, you bring them on for a temporary amount of time. That gives some relief for the people that you have working for you. And best case scenario, you find someone who's really fucking talented and you can add them to your writing staff, possibly permanently, depending on what their situation is. Like, why not do that? That's better than AI. At least you're coming up with something possibly original.
My issue is
you don't have to use anyone's idea. They can submit it and you can just never use it, or you can pick through and pick the best ones. That's a fucking way better idea. But again, that would take more than 5 minutes of effort, which seems like if you have to put any effort into doing anything at all, TKO doesn't want to do it. It's all about short-term returns as opposed to long-term growth, which is what they've been doing with WWE.
Well, here's the real question. Like
UFC, and I think a lot of these layoffs, to like roll it back in, I think a lot of these releases have to do with that. Because what did the New Day suffer from? Short-term thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No long-term storytelling. I mean, because what did New Day do after they lost the tag titles?
Nothing. They went.
They got Grayson Waller.
Yeah,
they got Grayson Waller.
And that's one of the things. Real quick, like that's what makes me mad because remember Odyssey Jones? How they were positioning him to be the new Big E, and you know, they can tell they're going to break him up. That's my whole point. Didn't make any sense to me. Before he got in trouble with legally, you know, allegedly and all that stuff, allegations with his what was it, girlfriend or fiance, whatever the case was, right?
Yeah, there's domestic abuse allegations, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
The whole story was, I don't like how Kofi is replacing Big E with someone else. Then fast forward, Big E wants to come back. Then they shit on him. And then the following few months, they bring someone else to be the third man. Grayson
and he never
Waller,
comes back.
And they don't have a problem with it at all. It's just like, that's so stupid to me.
Well, I think they were going to set up Odyssey to eventually take Big E's role, but they just didn't get that far. They just didn't.
Well, obviously not. Yeah, because of the whole allegation. But still, though, but in story for kayfabe wise, why is Xavier all pissy about them trying to replace Big E, but then they replace him and race swap him with Grayson Waller, a white dude?
Yeah. There ain't nothing new about this day. What the hell?
Oh my god! But anyways, do we want to read the article from Brian Alvarez? What he's reporting on the reason why that New Day and TKO separated today.
Yeah, I can read it out here for you if you want here.
Yeah.
It says Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods reportedly decided to leave WWE based on TKO's new offer for them. We can also confirm that in the case of the New Day, it was their decision to leave based on what TKO was offering for a new deal. To be specific, New Day's deals were not up. They were asked to restructure to TKO deals. They didn't like the deals, so they were then granted their releases. What the okay. All right, so this highlights another problem. What's going on with the TKO contract structure? Because, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, obviously, TKO is the parent company of both WWE and UFC. And in UFC, there's been a lot of fucking chatter about the issues with contracts. Basically, they signed a $1 billion deal with Paramount for UFC to be aired on Paramount Plus in a ton of places. Mostly it's the US. But a lot of fighters assumed, naturally, that would lead to a pay raise. Because, to be honest, there are UFC fighters, people who are contracted by UFC, who have to go and work part-time jobs because they don't make enough money fighting in the UFC. That's an actual thing that happens. It's pretty fucked up, and it's really only the top like 5 guys, maybe top 10 guys in the division who can afford to do it full time. That's a problem. And UFC ended up not increasing anyone's pay. But instead, they started up Zuffa Boxing, where they paid exorbitant amounts of money for boxers that nobody outside of the UK have ever heard, like Conor Benn. Conor Benn's a big boxer in the UK. No one outside the UK has ever heard of him. They paid big money for him, but they won't pay big money for... They don't pay anywhere near that much for UFC talent. So my worry here is, does that mean WWE is going to be scaling back how much they pay people? Because WWE, because shout out to our boy Nos. Our boy Nos was looking up the pay structure for WWE, right? Basically being like, UFC should go to that model. WWE can afford to do it. WWE and UFC make about the same amount of money. WWE makes, I think, 100 or 200 million more a year, but it's very equivalent. We're talking about 1.5, 1.7 billion dollars. Okay, so that's a lot of money. And WWE pays like $100,000 to guys in NXT.
Yeah.
Like, people are making good money in WWE, even if they're if they're on NXT or something like that. These contract guys are making good money.
Yeah.
And so what the hell's this new TKO deal? Like, the TKO are they trying to change now? Because they had a current deal and they're trying to change the structure of said deal.
Yeah.
What are they doing? Are they trying to scale back salaries like by a lot, which would make sense for everything that they talk about? They're always talking about cutting costs. They're using AI for creative to cut costs, right?
Yeah,
so naturally, the biggest cost you can cut back on is your staff.
Like, restructuring deals, it's not a new thing in the wrestling business, like people's deals, like contracts and all that stuff. But like, to me, I think if these guys are making, like, we don't know how much they're making, and it's not our business, but like, just put it out there, right? If these guys are making $4 million, by themselves, respectfully, like, because they are pretty much they were like the cornerstone of the tag team division, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they're making like $4 million a piece, and like, hey, we need to restructure this deal a little bit. You take X amount of dollars, and if that's the case, I don't blame New Day for walking, because no one wants to like take a pay cut. I sure would.
No, and I have a feeling it was probably a significant pay cut.
Yep. I think it was
that just becomes insulting, right? When you sign a deal, both parties signed that deal with risk attached to it, right?
Yep.
The New Day signed that deal thinking, well, we could end up being worth a lot more than this potentially.
Yep.
But we'll sign it. WWE signs that deal knowing, hey, they may end up not being worth it. That's a risk you take.
Yeah.
It's a legally binding contract. I get restructuring, especially when, like, hey, situations have changed and we want to change this. But you always try to make it so it has a benefit to the people who are having to take that pay cut. It's like, okay, we're going to give you this pay cut, but we have this other benefit. I feel like this was more like, guys, we just want to pay you less.
Yeah,
and that's probably like, yeah, go fuck yourself.
Like realistically, if it is
again, this is all speculation, but it's all based off of what we've seen TKO do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's not like, and that's a possibility. There's also a possibility they didn't want to restructure and they just didn't want to be there to begin with.
Yeah.
And they were just like, we don't want to be here anymore. We're not like, there's nothing.
Well, obviously they're creatively bankrupt for them, so that's that too. And second of all, if they're like saying, if these, like I said, if these guys are making $4 million a piece, which we don't know, just speculation here, and TKO said, okay, well, we just want to offer you guys $800K. That's a significant pay,
very significant.
Pay, degrading pay. Both these guys got families, they both got kids, and I don't blame them walking away because obviously in AEW, if they do go there, they ain't got to pay for their
big money.
Yeah, they're not going to have to worry about booking their flights, booking their hotel. That's all paid for by Tony. All they got to do is show up and get paid to work, and that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if it's $4 million,
and they can be, they'll be of more value in AEW. Like, AEW doesn't do the best with former WWE guys.
No, not at all.
But I feel like this is going to be one of those ones that's an exception, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's also the rumors that Motor City Machine Guns are going over there.
Yep.
Like AEW needs to up their game with their tag division. We've been saying that.
Yep.
They have good tag teams. It's just they put them on TV for a week and then they're gone.
Like how many times have we always said we enjoy watching Kevin Knight, and even though he's kind of a wacky.
Oh, Jet Speed. We love dude. That's a good tag team.
Yeah,
I like Speedball Mike Bailey. Like I like Kevin Knight.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good team, and they're kind of on TV. They're off TV. I even don't mind Brody Lee and Bandito. I don't mind Bandito.
Where's the Acclaim?
I'm always a big mark for like a tag team of a tall guy and a really short guy.
Yeah.
I always think that's a cool dynamic to have. So, AEW having that's it's good variety. It doesn't mean you have to book just because I like them doesn't mean you have to make them tag champions for like 2 weeks and then get rid of them.
Well, to answer Trey's question, he's asking what happened to the Acclaim. The Acclaims broke up because Anthony Bowman's now is with the Ops. He's with Samoa Joe and Hook.
Yeah, he's with the Ops. He replaced Powerhouse Hobbs.
What are we doing? I forgot you told me that already too.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe AEW or TNA can hire these guys to be the next tag team. Who knows? Let's talk about the other two releases that happened today. Let's talk about Mr. Botch himself, Mr. Tongaloa, getting released today too.
Look. Yes. Did he botch everything constantly? Yes. Did he get injured very quickly? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But WWE's tag division. This is the same reason why getting rid of the New Days. Why? Because your tag division is pretty thin.
Yeah.
It's paper thin. It's
on life support.
It's on life support. And so you added Damian Priest and R-Truth as a tag team. They're your tag champions.
Yeah, and they're like one of the more bigger tag teams. That's
sad.
Okay, yeah, it's not good. Basically, you had now you don't have Gorillas of Destiny. Right? Nope. You got Tama Tonga, which is great. I love Tama Tonga. But even if he wasn't the best, do something with him again. I know it got derailed because he got injured, right? Because they were tag champs, then they lost it to the Machine Guns, then they won it back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or no, there was a weird hot potato they did with DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, and the Gorillas of Destiny, where it was going back and forth. Either way, you don't have DIY anymore because they're kind of doing a breakup angle, and Ciampa's gone.
The Gargano's
probably going to be gone soon if he's not gone already. I'm trying to remember if he got released.
No, Gargano's still there.
He's still there. But
the Wyatts are gone, which I understand why the Wyatts went. There was nothing more you could do with them. And that's so many people you would have
said it 2 years ago. It just wasn't salvageable.
Well, it wasn't working.
Talking about that, it's relevant to this conversation too. Sorry, but look at the Wyatts. The Wyatts wrestled against the Samoans for 6 months, and no one gave a shit. It ran its course, and it's why are we still doing this with these guys?
Over Lantern.
Yeah, and by the way, it didn't even. it didn't even really resolve.
No.
No.
It,
Well,
it
because
was
remember,
open ended when they got rid of him, which was really bad.
we thought
Yeah.
there was a time we thought that was possibly going to be a Mania match.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it just was the night before Mania, and then it just ended, and it was ended in a brawl, so like it was gonna continue, and then it was gone. But again, like, and
the Street
poor
Profits,
dude, poor JC Mateo. It was bad. It was over before it even began.
It was over. The name was terrible. Like, he had no fucking chance with that name.
Jeff
and he
Cobb,
probably
man.
should not have been in the Bloodline.
No, I would have put him in NXT. Give him some time in NXT.
He should have been. Yeah, he should have been in NXT.
That crowd would have fucking loved him. They would have loved him, and he would have worked really well down there. Would have gave him time to acclimate, to come up to the main roster and make maybe an impact. Maybe if you're gonna, maybe if the Bloodline's only in the fucking 5th inning, like they keep saying or whatever, like, yeah, this is a guy who could have an impact later on. A new wrinkle, something new to add, not just throw him on an episode of SmackDown and be like, it's JC Mateo, he's Samoan. Yeah, like that doesn't work. Put him in NXT, build him up as something. Plant seeds. It's long-term story, like storytelling. This is something that's like, it's not hard to do. You just have to like make a concerted effort to do it. And we talk about NXT all the time. The women's division in NXT is very good. And they're calling up, like, the women's divisions for WWE is fucking stacked. Head to toe. When you're even getting to Evolve, there's a lot of good talent on Evolve. I mean, they're bringing up some of that now.
I wonder why.
Men's division. Oh, yeah, that's because Shawn Michaels is a bit of a gooner, but
Shawn.
With the men, it's not that case.
No, the
men's division is in NXT weak right now. It's weak.
Tony D'Angelo. Well,
dude, you literally need someone like friggin' JC Mateo. Like, you need him to go in and be a part of it, because if you have, Powerhouse Hobbs would have worked really well, because you have some of these guys go in who have a little bit of notoriety, have like that hardcore fan base behind them. They can help some of those more like homegrown guys grow. They can help them. See, the thing is, they're kind of depleted on the men's, whereas the women, it's constant. Like, it's just good talent. So you have like some really good talent going up against some young talent, and it helps get them to that point where they need to be. They're not doing that with the men, and that's the problem. What they're doing with the women, they should be doing with the men. Literally, that's all you have to do. Sign dudes, bring them into NXT. You have your guys in Evolve, and those guys usually end up being the more over guys, because people watch them, they get to know them a bit, right, through Evolve, and then they come on to NXT, and they have something a little more. That helps. The Legends and Future Great stuff, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I don't know what that show
is. They let go a lot of people. Like, they changed the format of it.
They let go a lot of those LFG guys. I think they let go of a winner, someone who won last season.
Yeah, they let go of one of the winners, and it's very tough. It's very weird. I feel like that show should just be like Breaking Ground. You remember Breaking Ground, where it was William Regal yelling at people to move their feet?
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like you do that with just do that. And maybe showcase some matches, but don't do the whole it's half Breaking Ground, half Tough Enough.
Well,
Tough Enough, yeah.
Going back to what you're talking about LFG from them, like the first season, what was it that they got the LFG championship, and I think the Undertaker won. It's like the reverse game show of American Idol or something like that. Like, it was just really weird.
Where it's my wrestler was the best one,
so
I win the title. It was it's like having action figures fight and being like, I'm the winner. Like, I get what they were going for. I don't think it works. I think you can change it so you can You don't even have to cancel the show. Just turn it into fully like into Breaking Ground. Have them wrestle on Evolve. Have those guys there and like have some, it's worth having like people on because they have like Natalia there. They got Kevin Owens. They got Bubba. They got Bully Ray. They got Booker T.
Mickey James.
There's so much. Well, they had her.
Michelle took her spot. But yeah.
Yeah, and Michelle's gone now. Michelle's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, so is Taker.
Well, she's busy in Mexico, dude. She's busy with the Undertaker. They're booking AAA. But seriously, like, there's so much knowledge there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So much knowledge. And to basically, like, I think it's kind of a waste a bit the way they're doing it. Or at least it's not doing it in the best way possible. Do it as like a documentary series. It is interesting. You don't have to try to make it more interesting than it already
tough
is.
Enough. You don't have to do Tough Enough too.
Dude, Breaking Ground. If anyone ever watched Breaking Ground on the old WWE network, it was great. It was Baron Corbin eating salad next to Norman Smiley. It was William Regal yelling people about putting their left foot forward. Like, it was great. I loved it. It actually was like decent. There wasn't like there's probably a little bit played up for the camera, but
sure.
It felt more authentic. It felt more like, yeah, this is what it's like. Just do that. Just do that and have these guys as coaches and have like little sit down interviews with them like you already do, but just don't make it like this fucking game show type of
don't turn it to Tough Enough too.
Yeah, just make it a documentary series.
Well,
I think that works way, way better.
Well, going back to Jeff Cobb just for a second before we move on to the Hogan doc. My thing was with this. One, if they're bringing back, if it's the rumors true about the whole Lucha Underground getting bought out by like WWE or Universal, and they're going to bring back Lucha Underground. Okay.
Was there, and I just want to address that. Have we had any like actual proof of that happening other than
I have not seen anything. That was just all rumor. So we'll just put in the rumor category. But if
that's a big caveat for everyone watching.
Big caveat. Yeah.
So like here's the thing, if that's the case, one, JC Mateo, Jeff Cobb, he was Matanza Cueto and Lucha Underground. So right there, if you're not gonna follow that stuff, so that's not, I guess that's not going to happen now. And second of all, when he was on the main roster, this guy should have been the I don't know if we can say the word now because YouTube's been acting weird about channels, but like a grappler, I guess you can say, a real wrestler like Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb's a former Olympian, right? He's a real stretchy kind of guy. So why was he not a part of the Solo's group? But why was he not like the protector, the bodyguard? Like they just made him look like one of the guys, like just like he didn't stand out.
There to take bumps.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, he was just there to take bumps. Yeah,
Like you look at this dude, he looks like a shit kicker. Like he looks like he will beat the fuck out of you 6 days of the week, and he'll wait on the 7th just to give you a break. Like
go watch some, look up Jeff Cobb like highlights on YouTube. Like see the stuff that he's like does with a gut wrench suplex or a German
New
suplex.
Japan. He was fucking great, man.
Yeah, dude. Like when he was Matanza Cueto, the tour of the island, that finish is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, there was so much potential with him. I really do feel like WWE has to look inward and on a lot of these and be like, yeah, we did not utilize these people at all.
No,
like not even like, oh, we could have utilized, we could have utilized them a little better. No, dude, they failed fucking miserably in a lot of these cases. The New Day shit, that's all WWE. Fucking Jeff Cobb, that's all WWE too. Like you should have never put him on SmackDown right away. There's a reason you have NXT. NXT isn't a third show. It's a preparation point. It's a place to get people ready to get to where you need them to be.
Yep.
You don't have velocity. You barely even have main event anymore. And you don't have superstars, right? Because syndication TV doesn't exist. You just roll that shit all into one, including with like OVW and FCW, and that's NXT. And it works. It really does. But you need to put people in there. You can't be doing this thing where we're like putting people in there for like half a week and then pulling them out again.
Yeah.
It's a big problem.
Wait, you guys want to talk about someone who else is a big problem, who thought he was going to get some like real love on Twitter and didn't get that at all and got ratioed to hell? Let's talk about
boy. I know you're excited to talk about this one. I'm ready to hear this.
Yeah, let's talk about good old Uncle Dave Meltzer putting his foot in his mouth on this one. My God. Okay, do you want to read this part right here, Cream? This original tweet?
Sure thing. From Steve Kim, the Thomas Swole of boxing. He wrote, finished this up last night. I enjoyed it. I was not a Hulkamaniac, but there's no denying this. He was the most important and biggest pro wrestler ever. Without him, the business does not expand the way it did in the 80s. Like the rest of us, he had his flaws, but at the same. I assume he meant to write more, but
yeah. So there's that. So this is the original tweet, right? It's for context.
Yeah.
Now, good old mentally challenged Dave Meltzer put this right there for a retweet.
Yeah, he wrote there, there were several wrestlers more important, but I think he'd top 6 in that category, maybe higher. At least Dave Meltzer thinks that Hulk Hogan might
Top
be
6.
higher than number 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't have the tweets. I couldn't find it, but he made a tweet saying like he thinks that people are above Hogan were like Jim Londos, Antonio Inoki, Frank Gotch, El Santos, which people don't know. El Santos was pretty much the Rey Mysterio of Mexico before Rey Mysterio. The guy was
he was like the Hogan of he was literally like
first big like.
I mean, this guy Santos was literally starring in films.
Right.
He was huge, and then because of him, there was like people like Blue Demon who were also starring in films and shit. Like Lucha got.
He was like the biggest.
Massive.
He's why
the reason why
like
Lucha Libre is like an integral part of Mexican culture is because of
him.
El Santo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like him saying that Hogan's not even like, Hogan's number 6 and someone said, well, Austin's number 3. And he's like, no, Austin's not in that category either.
Well, and this is the thing where he's like bringing up like Frank Gotch, which let me look up exactly when Frank Gotch wrestled, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm 99% sure we do not have footage of Frank Gotch.
If it's in black and white, it's in the 40s with
very black and white and probably no audio.
But like
and no audio.
No. He died in 1917.
Oh my God!
He died before World War I ended.
Bro.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm not shitting on Frank Gotch or George Hackenschmidt. All right, I'm not gonna shit on them. But what I am gonna say is, it's very, very hard to compare those people to someone like Hulk Hogan or someone like John Cena. We don't have footage of them. Okay. There's also just a completely different way that people wrestle. It's even hard to compare Hulk Hogan with John Cena because things changed so rapidly within that 20-year period between them.
Yeah.
Because Cena shows up early 2000s. So yeah, it's about 20 years.
Yeah. 2002.
It's very, very hard to compare that. Right? It's easier to compare someone like Austin and Cena, but even then, things change. So the whole top list is one thing that is kind of dumb. I get why people debate it, but it is really dumb. I can't compare Jim Londos, Frank Gotch, George Hackenschmidt, and fucking Bruiser Brody, right? Like those, I can't compare those guys because there's so many differences and so many things.
Well, especially Frank Gotch, because that was, you said 1917, right?
That's when he died. He was.
Yeah, that's when he died. So if he was, dude, you can't compare that. That's like wrestling wasn't pro wrestling.
Let's see where his fucking championships and accomplishments. He was American heavyweight champion 3 times, world heavyweight champion once. I believe that was 1905. He won that or something.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about someone who was wrestling. Like, he was champion of the Klondike. What the fuck are we? The Klondike? What are we talking about?
Yeah.
He won titles that were created in the, like, look, the American Heavyweight Wrestling Championship. The title existed from 1881 through 1922. It's been over 100 years since that title even existed. That's what we're talking about, by the way. And he was probably one of the earlier champions of it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like I said,
like that's impossible. We can't compare these. It's not to shit on anyone. I mean, like, without George Hackenschmidt and Frank Gotch, those guys have a huge importance. It's like Doom. It's you know, like how every fucking first person shooter game you like comes from Doom. They all, you know, come down from it. Frank Gotch and Hackenschmidt are kind of like that. But you know who else is like that? Hulk Hogan. And I think that's what this guy was trying to make the point. The definitive stuff is always going to be dumb because there's no way you can definitively say this guy was the best. You can't. Anyone who says you can watches too much ESPN, too much Stephen A. Smith. But but you can make a case for why some guys are more important than others, right?
Yeah.
I think in this time period, you can argue that I think you can argue successfully, Hulk Hogan is more important than Jim Londos or Hackenschmidt or even someone like Pedro Morales,
or Bruno. You can make an argument, because Hogan created 2 wrestling booms. I've said this before. Would the Attitude Era have happened if Hogan didn't do the turn in '96?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think it would have. But
would
again,
Austin be the Austin we know if they didn't do that?
I think the whole reason Dave does this is just to shit on Hulk Hogan because he doesn't like Hulk Hogan the person. All right, and I don't like Hulk Hogan the person. I think he did a lot of scummy things, and a lot of scummy things he never apologized for properly. I think he just kind of tried to sweep a lot of shit under the rug. Okay, but you have to separate him from what he did, right? You have to separate the person who was on the Gawker sex tape to the person who inspired a bunch of kids to fucking say their prayers, eat their vitamins. Even if I think he's a bad person, which I would be hesitant to say, he did a lot of good things. The Hulk Hogan character in the 80s was a force for good, whether you like it or not. And on top of that, it was mega popular and it helped every single person. You go back and we're going to talk about the doc, but one thing that every single fucking person brought up was, I wanted to be on the shows Hulk Hogan was headlining because I knew I was going to get paid.
Yeah. Yep. Fundamentally, just that.
Huge. And this guy's fucking massive. People who don't know anything about wrestling know who Hulk Hogan is. Now this is the case I would make if I'm trying to detract from Hulk Hogan. I would also say, yeah, but everyone knows who Macho Man Randy Savage is as well. Then you can have a bit of an argument because it's like, yeah, Hogan was huge, but so was Savage. But I mean, this is not the way to do it. Like this,
Hogan created
what are we talking
Hogan
about?
created the white meat babyface fucking playbook that Cena ran with. And now Cody's running with.
I mean, kinda. I would say it goes a little bit further back. But yeah, he did mainstream. He was basically the ultimate pro-America guy, even though Bob Backlund, I guess, was doing.
He was Superman of WWE back in the day. That is how they treated him. They treated him like a superhero almost.
Either way, I think what this gets to is Dave Meltzer's a fucking idiot. Like,
yeah, he's just a dumb fuck.
This is just a really bad. Like, this is just. You don't like the guy, just say it. It's okay.
Yeah, be honest about it.
You can just say you don't like the guy, but you know, it's
okay.
It's
so
one of these things where it's just it's really, really dumb to be doing this tweet.
Here's my take on this real quick before we move on. If it was not for Hulk Hogan, wrestling would not have been on the level that it has been, and even being here today, right? Hogan is the reason why that wrestling is still around. People can say, no, that's not true. No, it's true. Look what wrestling came from. It came from the circus and the freaking roller derby era, right? All those things are gone. The only thing that's left is wrestling. And if it wasn't for Hogan taking this shit to the next level with Vince McMahon, it would not be as popular as a household name that it is today. You can look everywhere today, going to the street, going to the stores. You see like a cereal, like for example, the freaking Bootios cereal. The WWE had their own cereal brand there for a minute with the New Day, right? Again, Hogan was able to do that shit like nobody else, and I think it's just it's a retarded take from Dave and a bias to him saying that. It's so dumb and mentally retarded. Seriously,
Yeah.
What are we even talking about? What are we even talking about?
I mean, if it wasn't for fucking Hogan, there would be a lot of people right now who have opportunities they wouldn't have, right?
No.
Yep.
Because there would be no WWE. There would be no WWE.
Wrestlers going to Hollywood. Wrestlers going to Hollywood. Hogan kind of, you had Piper, but in terms of like mainstream, it was Hogan.
There would be a WWE, but it would be a regional thing. Like,
be regional.
Maybe somebody eventually would have taken. I think maybe like Jim Crockett. Crockett were kind of trying to get national, anyways, right?
They were trying. It was never going to happen. I love the NWA.
They overspent. They spent way too much money anyways.
Way too much
Crockett
money.
Was fucking flying on private jets all over the place. But somebody would have eventually done it. Who would have maybe the AWA, maybe Vern Gagne, maybe in another world Crockett gets their shit together, but who knows? Somebody would have eventually nationalized it, but it wouldn't be the same as what we have now.
Here's the thing: I'm gonna make a comment real quick, Green, before we move on. I was gonna say something real quick.
Yeah.
If the argument can be made on one account, I think if Superstar Billy Graham was 10 years after the fact in the 80s and not the 70s, he would have had that spot for the WWE, and he would have been the biggest thing ever. That would be
true.
Superstar Billy Graham.
Yeah, but that's one of the things. That's a hypothetical. Like if we're dealing with, and hypotheticals are interesting, but we just have to. I mean, the thing is, Dave's like, well, this could have happened and this could have happened. Yeah, Dave, they could have happened,
but it didn't.
You know what?
Yeah, but it didn't.
It's all timing.
We're 40 years removed, almost 50, dude. We're gonna be, we're 40 years removed from this shit starting up. Right? From Hulkamania running wild, and it's still something people know about, right?
Yeah.
You know what? You know how big of a deal it was? He died like 2 days after Ozzy Osbourne, and it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Anyone else, by the way, passing away, no offense to them, but it would be a footnote because Ozzy was such a big cultural.
Hogan was the only one who could do that.
Hogan legit.
Yeah.
Hogan legit saw Ozzy pass away and legit said, "Doesn't work for me,
brother."
That's what he did. So like, look at this tweet because this is brand new, by the way. This just dropped, and I had to post this because this is the kind of mindset that people have. It's like you guys are mentally retarded. Hogan's the biggest star of all time, saying this shit right there. Kofi Kingston matters more to pro wrestling than Hulk Hogan has ever. What the fuck are we even talking about right now?
By the way, that's not to shit on Kofi.
No, I like Kofi.
And I don't. But Kofi is fine. Like
Kofi wouldn't even agree with this tweet. Let's be honest. He wouldn't even agree with it.
I don't know about that one. He hates Hogan because of the whole
controversy.
And the thing is,
I don't think he would though. At least I hope.
Thing that's like real weird. It's like Hogan dies, right?
Yeah.
They know that there was some sort of like tension between the two. And then like people online just trying to always be like stroking the tension. It's like, what's the point? Hogan's dead.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah, Hogan's dead.
Sorry, like and I'm not saying that to be morbid. It's just he's not alive.
No.
Right? So what is this even what's the point of this? One,
Because this is
false.
I'm just gonna be.
Does it just make you feel better because the guy said the N-word a bunch of times and was
and Kofi
kind of
just got
not a
released
good
today.
person in some senses?
This
Like, he did a lot of bad things, I guess.
This is the black guy WC. I'm sorry, but it's just a fact. They have the most dumbest takes ever. Like, what was that one channel me and Trey watched? I can't remember because it was so stupid. Like, these guys are like,
Yeah, I
Oh,
remember.
the
I
guy
remember.
that
It was
yeah.
So we got
basically
Jey
everyone
Uso.
shitting on Brock.
yeah, and then
And
they're
then
talking
you
about
got
Hogan
Jey
too, and they're
Uso.
like, yeah, like they're like,
Yeah.
oh, Booker T's a bigger star than Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan
What?
was
Okay, I don't even remember
a
that.
worldwide name. Hogan still is, even in death. He's larger than life. Even though Terry Bollea is gone, the Hulkamania brand and Hulk Hogan brand will live forever until we're all dead and gone.
You
It's
know
going to
what's
last
fucked up
everybody.
thing? Booker
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
even agree.
mean-
Like I said with Kofi, Booker wouldn't agree with that point if you
No.
saw him in the Hogan
I
dog. He
fucking
wouldn't
love
agree
Booker,
with that.
dude. Booker's one of my favorites, but no, he's
No.
not bigger than Hogan.
I
There's a
wouldn't even say
difference.
The Rock is bigger than Hogan, and not Brock's
No.
my second favorite of all time.
And that one's a maybe. Like maybe
That
you
was
could
like
make
probably
this
the
'cause
only close
the
one.
guy is
That's
in
the
like
Hollywood
every.
thing.
He was in every fucking Hollywood film for a decade, and he was
Yeah.
huge. I do think
He's
maybe
probably-
The Rock you can make that case, but it's
Mhm.
not based off of wrestling. Like Hogan, yeah, he had movies, they weren't good. He had TV shows, they really weren't good.
No,
They
But
weren't
it was almost entirely based off of wrestling. He was always involved in wrestling. He would
Yeah.
take little hiatuses and then come back to wrestling. Whereas The Rock left for like 20 years.
7 years. Yeah, 7
Yeah,
years.
And well, on and off. He's been on and off, but
But again,
Yeah.
Hogan is the reason why that
on.
professional wrestling is a mainstream and became a household name, and people say
why
things
The
like-
Rock
yeah, he's the
away,
reason why
became
someone
a
like The
star.
Rock could go and do something like the scene in The Mummy,
Yeah.
and then get in and do the Scorpion King and stuff.
Yeah,
And
'cause
that's
like I
not to
said-
say that The Rock has no influence on that either. It obviously takes hard work and preparation and a little bit of luck, but
Yeah.
I think a lot of that luck comes from someone else paving ways for you.
But again,
I don't think in order to help, we don't need to shit on Hogan's legacy
no.
to help other people. Like people can be success, like Ric Flair. We don't need to shit on Hogan so Ric Flair looks better. Like Ric Flair's Ric Flair.
No.
Fucking
Shawn
absolutely
Michaels.
needs to stop. He needs to stop being on Twitter, but he's an absolute.
Get off
Yeah.
the phone. Get off the phone, Flair.
Get off
Just
the
real
phone,
quick.
Ricky. Come on.
But like again, I think we'll say this and we'll move on. Hogan's the biggest star wrestling's ever produced and came down its pike. And people who say otherwise, you are fucking wrong, and you need to reevaluate what you're talking about. Again, Jim Londos, Inoki, Gorgeous George, El Santos. The names go on. The most influential people, right? But Hogan is the reason why that wrestling's still a mainstay today is because of Hulk Hogan and WWE's business because of Hulk Hogan. Again,
Yep.
what are we even talking about? What a dumb fucking take. Holy shit.
Yep. It's just it would look bad if I just said, guys, El Santo, he's no giant haystacks. It's like
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
fucking weird if somebody did that.
Yeah.
So to do it the other way, I get it. Hogan is someone that a lot of people don't like. People think he's a awful person. I think he did a lot of awful things. He's not an awful person.
Which is fine. That's
Oh, fuck,
understandable.
everyone does. By the way, everyone does awful things.
In
Yeah,
the
like-
wrestling industry too. I mean,
Yeah,
Shawn.
like
But and I would criticize the way he handled himself on those things for sure.
right.
But that aside, he did a lot of fucking good for people. He's not like Chris Benoit. There's
No.
some people out there who will shit on Hogan and put Chris Benoit, who fucking murdered his child,
And
I
wife.
experienced that.
higher.
I experienced
You know?
that. I showed Tyler that. I actually experienced it. Because at least Benoit isn't a
Well, here's the thing, though.
he said
There's a
he got
difference,
me, but
there's a
like
difference
he-
between
Said at
business-
least Benoit's not a racist. Yeah, he just murdered his fucking kid.
Here's the thing, though. But it's like this,
Yep.
too. Like it's you can separate the business aspect and the human being, right? Hulk
Yeah.
Hogan, greatest of all time. Terry Bollea had a lot of flaws, a lot of problems. But the thing is, look at Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb was revered as being one of the best hitters and players in baseball, and he was a known
Fucking
racist.
Dude, fucking insane. He was like S tier racist. Like,
Yes,
he
like he hated like everybody. Like he hated like
dude, he hated
honestly.
everyone who wasn't the exact same shade of white he was.
But
You
even though
didn't
he's
have
a
the same
piece of
type of
shit,
farmer's tan as him, he might go fucking beat you up. Like he was a terrible fucking racist.
human being,
But
terrible human being. But
Great
on the
hitter.
field, you can't take away his talent. Just the same way as OJ Simpson. You can't take away what OJ Simpson did on the field. You can't do it. It's the same with Hogan. You
well,
can't
they took
fucking
away
do
his. Didn't they take away his Heisman?
I mean, look at Reggie Bush. He got his
Yeah,
Heisman
yes,
taken
they
away
did
and
take
gave
away
it
what
back,
he
and
did
gave
on
it
the
back to him.
field.
So it's like,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But like I
Anyways.
said, yeah, going on. Hogan's the biggest star of all time. Fuck Dave and his stupid ass opinion.
Yeah.
End of rant.
Well, since we're talking about Hogan, do we want to get in and talk about this Hogan doc? Because
I do.
that's where
Let's
all of this bullshit is stemming around. All this talk about, is Hogan really that good? Is he shit? Is Hogan actually got mid aura? Is this real, chat? No. Like, I mean, let's get into the doc though, because like, of course, the documentary came out. Everyone was complaining about how many fucking ads they saw for the doc during Mania. To be fair, there was a lot. There was a lot. Overall, before we get into specifics, I'll ask you guys what you think. Overall, I would say it was a very decent doc. I liked it. I felt myself, who does not really like Hulk Hogan, actually sympathizing with him a bit in some cases. Still think he handled a lot of shit incorrectly, but still, I actually found it was a very humanizing documentary. There was some real parts of it that you didn't ever really get to see from him. And it's still Hulk Hogan. I mean, he still lies, but he lied a lot less. It felt like closer to the actual human being than what we would usually get out of an interview with him. And for that, I think this documentary is worth watching.
I'll let Trey go. Go ahead, Trey. Go ahead.
I would say, I was saying all week, I think this is the best wrestling doc in a minute. Like, in a long fucking time. And there was stuff in there I didn't even know about. Like, I was like, oh, I didn't know this.
Right.
It did compared to, remember when we reviewed the Vince doc? It did the opposite of that. It didn't just tell us shit we already know as hardcore wrestling fans. This one felt like it was for the hardcore wrestling fan and not for like the casuals.
Yeah.
And I agree, Kareem very humanized Hogan. I'm not going to go too into specifics yet, but there's a part where he talks about his first divorce, or it's really crazy with Linda.
Oh.
There's a thing he said.
Dude, the whole Linda shit. The woman needs to calm down. She was way too horny. Like all she did was talk about Hulk Hogan's dick. Like, if anyone in this film comes out looking bad, it's Linda Hogan.
Honestly, okay, so I guess I'll give my point of view now. I thought this was excuse me, I thought this was well produced. I thought this was really good. I did think this was the most realist that we've seen Hogan ever in an interview. Like, it wasn't like he was just, he wasn't like the Gaga, like, let me kayfabe everybody and freaking work this gimmick to my work, my liking and shit like that. Like I said, because like Linda, to me, I thought she was one of the best things in this documentary. I thought she came off really well, in my opinion. I think Hogan did too.
What?
I did. I think Linda came off.
Just talked about dick the entire time.
I understand that, but I'm saying that on the doc though, she did present her because I thought she was going to come in there and just shit on Hogan. Honestly, I didn't think she was actually.
I mean, I think she just wanted his dick again. I think that's what I think. She was just horny for him, and that's why
there was a theme with that.
Yeah, but like I do think she came off well in the doc. I think that Hogan came off well too, because when she was telling stories and Hogan was telling stories, their stories lined up. It wasn't just some made up bullshit story that Hogan came up with. Even though Hogan didn't acknowledge some stuff in the doc we'll talk about when we get into it. But like, but I do think this was very well produced by Netflix and WWE. I think this was a whole lot better than the Vince doc.
Way better than the Vince doc.
Even though there was some
the-
stuff in this doc that was left out they didn't touch
Yeah.
on, but I think it's pretty much
Yeah.
people already knew about. That's why they didn't cover it. But
I also liked having Cody there because it was kind of cool. At least have someone from the current, wrestling, and to have their perspective on it. So that was kind of cool.
Because that was pretty much Cody's generation too, was the Hollywood Hogan stuff. But Kareem, do you want to lead us off?
Well, and to start us off with like where we're at, I mean, the first thing was Hogan was pretty like he was basically like I watched Dusty. I love Dusty.
Mm-hmm.
So to have Cody on there, I think is a symbiotic. It's like a full circle, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To have the son of your hero on the documentary about you, interesting. Yeah, I mean the first episode is more stuff that we knew about. I didn't know about his dad.
No.
I didn't know about his brother. I mean we get in the first episode about his family life. He was significantly younger than his older brother. He was kind of like the accident child, I guess.
I think you say he was 10 years younger than his older brother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 10,
So
10 years.
it was a big difference, and
Mm-hmm.
he didn't seem to have the best relationship with his dad, especially because he wanted to go and be a musician, which everyone knows. Hogan, trust me, Hogan likes to lie a lot about how he was going to be in this band or that band or what. He doesn't do that here. He's just like,
No.
I was a musician. Linda goes and says he was a really good musician. He is. He actually is. And I will say that. I've listened to the album he did in Japan where he plays bass on it. It's good. It's actually like decent. It's not my style, like my type of thing I would like to listen to, but it's not bad. So, he played in bands. He was a bit of a pudgy kid as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they talked
but
about
he
that.
started to kind of fill in when he got older and got a little more muscular, and he'd be at the bars, and a ton of these wrestling guys would come in, and they would all be coming in, and he knew who they were because he was a fan, and they would start bringing him around because he was a tall motherfucker with muscles. So they're like, okay, we can fucking use this dude.
Well, like when you said that real quick, Kareem, I was surprised they didn't mention Gerald Briscoe, because Gerald Briscoe's the one that found Hogan at the bar and told him to come over and try to give him a job in Florida Championship Wrestling, come down there to work for him. Because I still think, I could be wrong, I think the Briscoes owned a little bit of the, what was it? Was it the Georgia territory or was it the Florida territory?
It would have been Florida.
Yeah, so that went down. Well, I did think it was kind of funny. He mentioned things like, I saw Superstar Billy Graham. He's like, that's the first time I met him. When I've heard Hogan say multiple times, I watched Superstar Billy Graham when I was a kid. He come down to Florida. I told my dad, so I just want to be just like that guy right there. So I thought that was kind of funny.
I feel like the truth is he found out about Billy Graham a little later on.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I think if I had to bet my money on what's the truth or the closest to the truth out of any of the stuff, I would put it on this doc, because there's a lot of, we get into it later, there's a lot of really vulnerable shit that I would have never imagined Hogan saying in a lifetime.
Yeah, admitting, especially a certain line about Linda, which we could.
Yeah. We'll get into that stuff later, but yeah, I mean, he ends up coming along to the shows and goes and decides that I'm gonna try to be a wrestler, and then they immediately snap his leg.
Yeah.
And he's out, and he was living on his own, having to sneak back into the house to visit with his mom because his
that
dad
was wild.
didn't approve. His dad really didn't approve of him not going to college and becoming a musician and then wanting to become a wrestler. He even didn't like. So Hogan's trying to sneak around and do all that stuff, and yeah, he was kind of that's a pretty low place for people to be at, where
Mhm.
you're separated from your family, you got a broken fucking leg,
Yeah.
so he can't really go play music, right?
No.
Even if he wanted to quit wrestling right then and there and never do it again, he can't go play music until his
No.
leg's healed. He can't go stand. Who the fuck is gonna go stand on stage with a broken leg, right? Like,
Well,
Yeah.
he didn't
And-
tell everyone who broke his leg, anyways. By the way, he didn't tell who
Yeah.
did it. That was Hiro Matsuda. Matsuda broke
Yeah.
his leg.
yeah, Matsuda. Mats. He didn't mention certain people, and I
Yeah.
think it was maybe like an oversight. I don't think he was like, I can't talk about Hiro Matsuda or Gerald Briscoe. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he broke his leg, and then afterwards he came back. He came
Yep.
back and he kept working and he kept working and he kept working, and he wasn't the best.
Mhm.
He was
Yeah.
what
Oh,
did they say, he was green as goose shit or whatever?
Oh
Like,
yeah, that clip they
Yeah.
showed in the documentary, it's on YouTube. You type in Hulk Hogan training in FCW, Florida Championship Wrestling. Hogan's really, really skinny, really
Yeah.
skinny.
yeah.
Like he is
Yeah.
not
And
as big.
so
Yeah, sorry. go ahead.
they were getting him, and he ended up being an FCW under the mask. What was he,
Mhm.
Super Destroyer?
Super Destroyer.
Super Destroyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was just eating pins, bro. He was straight up just
Yep.
eating pins.
Then he
They
was
put
Terry
him-
Boulder there for a minute.
That was when he got to Memphis.
Right.
But in FCW, he was still Super Destroyer. And then eventually they said, okay, go to Memphis. And he went to Memphis, and that's when he
Terry
becomes
Boulder.
Terry Boulder. And I believe that's where he meets Jimmy Hart for the first time.
Yep. Because they talk
Yep.
about that, and then
Who I don't want to say this because it's gonna sound wild. Jimmy Hart is the love of Hulk Hogan's life, right? Like,
yeah, I know
just,
what you mean.
they're
Yeah.
Jimmy's
they're
a
like
real-
they're like brothers, dude.
Jimmy's a
They're
real
He's a
literally
real one.
inseparable.
He's a real one.
dude.
Not inseparable. And Jimmy Hart, like, oh man, that was hard.
Yeah, I
That was
know
hard to see.
we're jumping ahead, but that shot of him, this is like the day they found out Hogan died. That was kind of hard to watch for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. That
'Cause
was
you could hear
really
it in his
tough.
voice. Yeah. I did like
but-
they mentioned Rocky 3. I did like they mentioned that.
Oh yeah, we get to Rocky 3. But yeah, he goes to Memphis and he starts to pick up a bit of steam. Like, he's not
Yeah.
just fucking eating pins. He's still not great. He's getting better and getting better and getting better, and then he starts going around. He's working the territories. He's going all over the place. And then he goes to, they kind of skip over some stuff because I think they just figure it's not as interesting to be like, well, he wrestled in Mid-South, and then he went and took a little drive to Hollywood and did a little wrestling there, and then he came back to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Like that type of stuff where he's running the roads, but you get the idea. He was working the territories. We
Yeah, and
then
then-
get him. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, when he talks about he needs a gimmick, he basically, like, we'll get into that part, but, like, you know, he learned a lot from Jerry Lawler, from the, like, the no selling stuff. That's a Lawlerism right there.
I think he
Definitely.
learned. Memphis is integral to him. Without that, he doesn't learn from what Lawler was doing, who, by the way, was in the dock.
Yes.
And he doesn't meet up with Jimmy Hart, who is
No.
probably the most important person in his life besides his kids.
Because I mean, if you go
Yeah.
back and watch that stuff on, if you go on YouTube, type in Memphis Wrestling Hogan's debut, they gave him the Incredible Hulk like moniker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they ripped off the Incredible Hulk TV show. Like,
Yeah.
this man is
Incredible
not
Hulk,
a man.
Terry
I wish we could
Boulder.
show it, but I know we get hit for it. But like
The one
It's
where
really
he's
nicely
standing,
done.
he's on like Jerry Jarrett's
dining room
kitchen
table.
and they're filming him from below.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and that's where we get the Hulk stuff from.
Yep.
And they eventually what do they call him? Hulk. What
The
was his
Incredible.
last? Yeah, but there was they gave him another last name. It was the Incredible Hulk something. Hulk Boulder. It wasn't Hulk Boulder.
Yeah,
was it?
Terry the Hulk Boulder, I think that's what it was.
Yeah,
Terry the Hulk. Yeah. And then he was the Incredible Hulk, Terry Boulder. But yeah.
Right.
Then eventually he goes up to New York, where Vince McMahon Sr. says,
Yep.
Terry Boulder's a shit name. I'm gonna say Hogan. For some reason, he gives him an Irish name just because.
Well, I mean, Vince is Irish.
Vince
so.
Senior's is Irish, so
Yeah.
he's like, "How to give you an Irish name, buddy?" I know he wasn't actually Irish; he's just of Irish descent, but no, whatever. We'll roll with it. And yeah, so then we get the Incredible Hulk Hogan,
Yeah, and
he wrestles.
Go ahead. I'll
wrestles
comment in a minute.
lot in New York.
Oh yeah, a lot of people don't talk about that, but he wrestled against Andre in the Shea Stadium show in 19. What was that? 70, 80, something like that.
Yeah, and he body slammed.
Yeah,
he body slammed him.
Yeah,
right before WrestleMania 3.
Yeah,
like almost 10 years before.
And he worked a long time with Andre too. Like he worked a long time with Andre in the like other territories, like in Japan and stuff like that too. At this timeline, but
yeah.
But yeah,
so he's working a lot, and this comes to the real breakthrough, the real breakout, and it is one man is sitting in a hotel room and in New York City, can't really get to sleep, and he just kind of puts something on TV, and he sees that the Incredible Hulk Hogan is wrestling on TV. That man is Sylvester Stallone, and he happened to be working on a new movie called Rocky 3.
Maybe you guys heard of it.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but because of that, just chance, it's that's pure luck, right?
Pure luck.
If Stallone puts on the TV 10 minutes earlier or 10 minutes later, you don't have Hogan in Rocky 3. What if he never turns on the TV at all? But he turns it on and he sees this guy at the right moment, at the right time, and it pops into his head, hey, this guy's got a good look. Let's put him in. Let's see if he wants to do this movie. And Hogan says, fuck yeah, I'm going to do this movie. Of course I am.
Yeah.
And Hogan says in the doc he had a really good relationship with Vince McMahon Sr. But Vince McMahon Sr. did not want him to do it. He was supposed to go to and do a show, and he said, no, I'm going to do the movie. And he said, well, you're never going to work here again. And Hogan said,
yeah,
okay.
Fired him.
Yeah, because he wanted him to go.
Hogan took a shot.
Because this is when they were still working with the territories. You know, this is still when Vince McMahon Sr. was working with the NWA still. Like he told him, like, yeah, I need you to go down to Georgia TV and wrestle against so-and-so tomorrow at 3:00 in Georgia. He's like, well, I'm not doing that. I told you I was going to do the Hogan movie. He's like, well, if you don't do it, if you don't go do the booking, you're not going to be working here in this territory again. That's what Hogan said. All right, fine, I won't. And that's when he went to go film Rocky 3.
Yep. And it worked out really well. I mean, he ended up on Johnny Carson. He ended up, becoming like a little popular. Everyone was like, okay, like this is the start. And like, because of that, he leveraged it. Yeah, I mean, it's starting to bubble up though. This is the first time he's out. He ends up getting an opportunity with the AWA.
Well, before we go to AWA real quick, should we talk about the Linda part where she says what she says about Hogan?
I was going to mention that afterwards because he gets an opportunity to work with the AWA, but he's still, wrestling all over the place too. Like there was still,
and during this time
before
too,
that,
the AWA was looking for everybody and anybody with somewhat of a star power because the AWA here was pretty. It got worse when everyone left, but it really got bad.
It's bare bones at this point, basically. Like nobody, essentially.
But then so he ends up in LA. He's going to a bar and he sees a waitress and he's like, damn, that bitch hot. That bitch fire. All right. And that bitch be Linda Hogan. So
that was Linda Hogan.
He meets up with her. They fuck. Like, I didn't need to know about that part. I just assumed they would have, since they have 2 children together. That inevitably that was happening. But Linda really wanted to talk about having sex with Hulk Hogan.
What did she say? She said Hogan. He took her back to his hotel room, and all of a sudden he came out naked. And she's like, "Well, it's not every day you get to fuck a giant." That's an exact quote. I'm like,
that was a quote. Whoa, I was like, huh? I was not expecting that.
I was like, wow.
Okay.
What are we doing here?
Here's like the 65-year-old woman saying, "Yeah, it's not every day you get fucked by a giant," and I'm just like, "Okay,
hey, yo,
that's a statement. That's a statement."
Yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah, it was wild to be like, "Well, I just met you. I'll suck your dick."
Right.
Well, you know, like, if we remember what Hogan said in the lawsuit he had with Gawker, he told her when he's like, you know, I don't have a 10-inch penis, but you know, Hulk Hogan has a 10-inch dong. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, there's a lot of penis talk in that family, and I feel very uncomfortable about it.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah, it was weird.
Speaking of penises, we go back to Vern Gagne's AWA, where we are introduced to one of the people in the documentary, one Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yeah.
That was surprising.
Listen here, Jim.
So anyways, I think it's a good idea for this Hulk Hogan guy to come into the territory.
Let me tell you something. This Hulk Hogan guy, I think he's a wonderful man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was shocked how chilled out Ventura was in it.
Yeah.
I honestly, everyone was chilled out. We get the Bret Hart, who was the most
He's like
aggressive.
animated. He was only aggressive
He's
about
still pretty chill,
WrestleMania.
and he still had some nice things to say. Like, it wasn't.
Yeah, and it was only about the WrestleMania 9 spot where he really got angry.
Oh, we'll get into that. Yeah, we'll get into that.
We'll get to that, but we're still in the AWA here, pal. We're still here with Mean Gene Okerlund.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we get Mean Gene interacting with
Hogan.
Hulk Hogan there because I mean, everyone remembers Mean Gene was also in the AWA. The AWA got fucking raided by Vince Jr. It got fucking raided.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
See, because you have like this big, huge match between Ventura and Hogan, and Hogan ends up, who was supposed to be a heel, by the way.
Yep.
He ends up getting cheered, and they turn him into a face.
Yep.
And Hogan is kind of, he's at this point where he's like, okay, I'm doing all right. Like, I got some stuff going on, but I really do need like a gimmick. I need something to really push me over the edge. And what it becomes is that the pro-American hoorah-rah,
Hulkamania, vitamins,
the super nationalistic stuff, and he ends up being like, yeah, I can make this work, and it's not the peak of it. That's obviously when he fights Iron Sheik a little later on, but he starts to really like lean into that. Also goes back to his dad, who he didn't have a good relationship with. His dad, there's like scenes where there's like home video, and his dad has like a fucking photo framed of Ronald Reagan on the outside of the garden shed. Like, that's my president right there. He's on my garden shed. It's like, okay, well, that's a little wild. But yeah, I mean, he basically was like, I think in a way he did it for his dad because they didn't have a good relationship. And we'll get into his relationship with his dad because
I think
it doesn't have a sad ending. They end up actually being all right afterwards. But
I think
feel
that
like a lot of this being armchair psychologist is a guy who just really wanted his dad to like actually love him.
Be proud of him,
and he didn't feel like he did.
I think it was that too, but I think it was also Dusty. I think it was like, okay, well, it's working for Dusty.
Yeah, Dusty.
Yeah,
Dusty was super hoorah America too.
Yep,
like his whole childhood was filled with that, and so
listen here, I'm a fellow plumber, baby. Listen here, I can bring that the road, live in public, if you will. Yeah, that was Dusty,
and he took that and he fucking ran with it.
Yep.
And he was big. He was getting really, really big in the AWA.
Yep. He
And
worked against
then
freaking Nick Bockwinkel. He legit
Yeah.
he beat Bockwinkel for the title
Yeah.
there for a minute.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they
And we actually don't even really cover that in the doc.
No.
Because
no.
he's not
They
in
may-
the AWA after he really gets that stuff going for very long. Because
And they
No.
didn't tell why he left the AWA, by the way, too. Because
yeah.
we'll get into with the part where Iron Sheik, and then I'll come back to this part to relay that. But go ahead, Dream.
Yeah, because they
Yeah,
just
sure.
go into Iron Sheik basically. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so then we get this thing where he's apparently backstage. He says he was backstage at a AWA show. He gets a message that Vince McMahon wants to talk to him, and he's like, well, that's weird. Vince McMahon doesn't want to fucking have anything to do with me. And he's like, and they're like, no, it's Vince Jr.
Mhm.
And so Vince McMahon, the Mac Daddy himself, kid, has taken over the WWF. Yeah, that's good shit. And that's basically what he saw in Hulk Hogan. He's like, that's good shit.
What a maneuver.
I want to be in the Hulk Hogan business. And brings in Hogan. He brings him back, and he's like, hey, I think we can do some good shit here.
Yeah.
And
boy, do
and
they.
he's yeah, dude. And then we're fucking off to the races. How long is he in WWE before he wins the title? Or WWF?
Not that- Not that long.
His debut, like legit, it was his debut match at WWF for under Vince McMahon Jr.'s, VKM's ownership. Legit.
Yep.
January.
Really?
Yeah, January 23rd, 1984. Like it was like
so okay. So yeah, we're talking about this. Okay, so yeah, he goes into Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
It's during the whole Iran
hostage crisis
situation.
Hostage crisis.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
this
don't know
when-
anything about that, there's a lot of stuff with it.
Very sad.
There's,
Very sad.
Very sad situation. Yeah.
It was wild, dude. When the Canadian embassy started smuggling Americans out and then had to fucking flee Iran as well because the IRGC there was a lot of shit going on with that. There's a bunch of stuff. There's a good film, the Argo, that was based off of some of them being that fled to the Canadian embassy, getting fucking basically sneaked out of Iran while the rest were being held hostage. Yeah, it's wild. But yeah, so that situation was going on. So people were fucking obviously pissed off. And
they were looking for someone to cheer for Pro Americana, honestly.
Exactly, especially when you have the Iron Sheik,
Sheik,
who was once the bodyguard for the Shah of Iran.
Saddam, this guy went to school.
By the way,
this guy went to school with Saddam Hussein. That's a legit story. He went to school with Saddam.
That's a real story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gimmick.
And by the way, he was the bodyguard for the Shah of Iran.
Yes.
Who was overthrown by the regime that then took the Americans hostage. But that's not good for wrestling storytelling to be like, this guy was the bodyguard of the guy who didn't fuck you over.
Yeah.
And so anyways, but he's Iranian, so we can put
Checks
him
out
as our big Iranian villain, and he had like Freddie Blassie with him.
Yeah, because he
wearing the
Iron
fucking little sheik.
Yeah, because he wanted the Iranian national anthem to be played before the American national anthem.
Yep.
Yeah, that was that was just we can't take that. This Iranian man is asking for his anthem to be played. We spit on you, Iron Sheiky baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like this how this match starts off though. It's on the WWE Vault channel, by the way. If you guys want to watch it, it's on there. I might post in the pin down server later. But like, it's really good. The crowd is amped up in the Garden. Man.
Yeah, they really show that crowd. The crowd
they are fucking hyped.
Yeah, dude.
And
which is crazy. This was not even the main event, by the way, for that show. That wasn't even the main event for Hogan versus
for the
Sheik.
fucking WWF title, by the way.
Yeah,
not the main event.
Not the main event
Hogan wins, obviously.
Yeah.
And there's a good thing, there's a good scene with him and his parents in the locker room when they were interviewing him, and he's celebrating with them. And he goes to say that like the Pro America stuff, like when that happened, when he won the title, his dad was like, "IK, I was wrong. You know what you were doing."
Yeah.
Like he kind of wasn't resenting his son for making decisions. He's like, okay,
Well, he said
you
because my
made the
dad's a
right
big
decision.
sports fan. My dad's a big sports fan. Like, he'd watch, Ali fights at the Garden and stuff like that. And like for his son to be there, to be like one of the mainliners at the Garden, really proved that I actually did make it to the highest peak, of this
And that
business.
that's what I'm getting. I was getting at earlier when I said there's a lot of vulnerability, and we get more vulnerable than that. But that's something that you never really saw with Hogan. It was always I gotta work the gimmick, dude.
Yeah, I always
gotta work the gimmick, brother.
Yeah, but
like there was a lot of stuff like that, and this is actually feels like the curtain has been pulled back a decent amount, not fully.
Yep.
But as much as we were ever going to get with Hulk Hogan.
Right.
And that's where episode 1 ends.
Well, real quick before we go back, just like when they talked about the whole like Hulkamania started in the WWF, it really started in the AWA because they even had Hogan had t-shirts called Hulkamania. So I mean, it really got started, but it got taken to the next level with the WWF, with Vince and his marketing mind, and, trying to make this bigger than larger than life. So
yeah, Vince was able to take it to a whole new level.
Yeah,
and he did it with a ton of people from the AWA. Mean Gene
tons of
Okerlund's
people.
one.
My God,
how many?
Jesse,
Mr. Perfect,
Jesse the Body Ventura, Andre, Bobby Heenan, Adrian Adonis. Like Hogan, when Hogan left, Hogan took half the AWA roster with him when he went to join.
Pretty much, yeah. They all went to because they think they even.
Which, by the way, is then when you get people like I believe Kurt Hennig starts showing up in AWA. Like there, and Shawn Michaels was there for a bit. Like they had to bring in a bunch of people who then also got rated again by Vince later.
And also
later on in the decade.
Also, too, about the Hogan match with Sheik. Before we move on, he said personally that Vern Gagne called him up and said, "Hey, break Hogan's leg, legit for a shoot. Do that and hurt him for real, and I'll give you $100,000. You can come back to work for AWA." And Sheik declined and said, "No, I can't do that because I think Vern Gagne knew if Vince went international the way he did, they would be out of a job." And lo and behold, that's what kind of happened, sadly.
Yeah. We get to what happens with Hogan's brother next because we're on to episode 2 here. Episode 2. Where do we start it off at? I'm trying to remember. I mean, it's basically just him.
Pretty much the height of Hulkamania. Like
Hogan he's just going around. He's wrestling everywhere. Honestly, I felt like this was the least memorable episode because it was like covering a lot of stuff we already know. The real big things out of this one is he did a lot of cocaine with Jim Neidhart. And the Road Warriors.
They did one scene when Linda and Hogan were talking about how they did blow back in the 80s and stuff like that. And this
immediately cuts to Jim Neidhart's face.
They cut right to Hawk from the Road Warriors. I'm like, dude.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that was I don't know if that was on by happenstance or that was on purpose. It was like, why y'all have to bury a Road Warrior Hawk like that, dude? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was bad. Like, they cut right to him.
I'm like, okay. But, like, we're talking about the whole height of, like, WrestleMania, like, talking about how Mr. T, came in and did WrestleMania 1 with Hogan and,
hosted SNL. Like they're all over.
The Richard Meltzer story, that was wild. They even covered that in the doc.
Yeah, Richard, and where he's like, I went too far with that, which he actually admitted he was wrong on something, which for Hogan is fucking crazy. You don't ever see that.
Because I mean a lot of people don't know that, but Richard Belzer before, like when he won that lawsuit, he bought a Irish cottage or something like that, like somewhere in Europe, and called it Casa de Hogan.
That's pretty funny. That's honestly that's memes. I want a lawsuit against you. Let me name my new mansion after you.
But going back to like WrestleMania like 1, they just talk about how WrestleMania 1 was pretty much what set off the WWF to the higher echelon of professional wrestling, because Hogan's like always saying it wasn't in armories and smoke filled stuff and blah blah blah, people drinking beers, throwing cigarettes in the ring, which again, there was other people like doing stadium shows like Mid-South with Bill Watts doing his stuff at the Superdome in New Orleans and stuff like that.
The the one thing I will say, I'm gonna do the actually. I mean, Starrcade was on pay-per-view before Mania, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So like we had Starrcade going on. So
And closed circuit, by the way.
yes. Yeah. Which closed circuit was basically a predecessor to pay-per-view. It's a more
Right.
Prehistoric version of it, I guess. Like where you like just come to the movie theater and then you can pay for a ticket and watch it. Like that was, which by the way, WWE was doing up until the 2010s. Theater closed circuit shows, so that is something funny. But yeah, I mean, like there was no mention that like Starrcade was also attempting to do the same thing.
Of course not
successful as Mania, but still pretty successful.
Right. And also too, but the WrestleMania stuff. I'm so sick and tired of Roddy Piper not getting the love that he should get and deserve.
Yeah.
So
what about Paul Orndorff, dude? That guy gets people fucking forget that Paul Orndorff was involved
and took the pin.
Yeah,
legit, legit, dude. You go back and watch Piper. If Piper wasn't the Joker to Hulk Hogan's Batman, there would not have been a WrestleMania worth watching or the war to tell the score. And I know they wanted to do David Schultz against Hogan because they were supposed to do that for the original tag match at WrestleMania 1. It was supposed to be Schultz and Piper against Hogan.
I believe was that the Geraldo thing where he smacked
the John Stossel, which by the way, I don't care what people say. John Stossel had it coming. I don't care. Everyone's like, oh, he's on the right side of it. Like, he's a right-wing commentator now. I don't give a fuck. The guy tried to take the business down, try to expose it. And it's like, oh, these people are all fake and shouldn't be doing this. Fuck John Stossel. You got what you fucking deserve.
I'm annoyed by John Stossel.
He's annoying. He's an annoying little fucker, douchebag.
You won't get a. I mean, yeah, but maybe don't do it right on camera, Dave Schultz. Like,
that's the only thing.
I'm gonna rob this liquor store in front of a SWAT team.
I know, but it is what I'm with Schultz on that one. I would have done the same thing too, because John Stossel came off very arrogant, very pompous, like know it all. Like, oh, this is all fake. I was a real wrestler. I was in in high school. I wrestled amateur.
Yeah, there was a lot of that
job,
shit,
buddy.
That's honestly something that doesn't get covered. It's Richard Meltzer stuff in the doc. And yeah, so then we get that, Hulk's building he's got a home with Linda.
Yeah, in Connecticut out of all places and stuff like that. And like they're talking about family and stuff.
And they eventually moved to Florida, but
back to Florida
versus Connecticut.
Which that's another story too, because Hogan wanted to have ownership of WWE and Vince wouldn't give it to him. So that's the reason why Hogan left Connecticut and went back to Florida, because he thought he would be like the number 2 guy behind Vince, and that wasn't going to happen. So there's that too.
I think the other really big thing out of this worth mentioning, because this second episode is pretty much like all right, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, if you know anything about Hulk Hogan, this is what you know.
Yep.
And even the next episode has a little bit less of stuff you may or may not know. There's a little more of that. But the one is about his brother. So he ends up
that was sad.
What was the story? He was out at like a restaurant with his
He
wife
was
in
at Gold's
California.
Gym. He was at Gold's Gym. They were working out, and Linda said that she went back to the car, which I assumed it was a very expensive type of car. And
there was a man there who there was a man there who looked exactly like Hulk Hogan, but with a giant
on the hood
beard.
of the car, which is like, okay, nice to put your ass down on my hood, but thanks. But
so then Hogan comes out, and he's like, "Holy fuck, it's my older brother."
Yeah,
and
Ray. I think his name was Ray, by the way.
Yeah, Ray, and he's basically his brother was like, "Hey, man, I need a little bit of money. I need some help, right?"
Yeah.
And Hogan was like, "Oh yeah, dude. No, I'll give you some money." And then we find out that he took that money. His older brother bought I think it was like heroin or something, and overdosed.
It was somewhat paraphernalia of drugs. Yeah,
it was drugs, but he overdosed and died.
Yep.
With drugs that he bought
because
from
he
the money
because he gave
got from
Hogan the
Hogan.
spill, like, I guys got to pay my bills, like, I'm like, I haven't been able to eat and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and plus,
And-
and Hogan said too, his brother was in Hell's Angels, I believe he said.
Yeah, he was he was like straight up a bike, like actual
Biker.
and yeah.
Yeah.
He ended up passing away, and
Overdosing.
that is the one thing Hogan was just like, no, we're not talking anymore about that, because they wanted to dig a little deeper, and he's like, no. And I get that. That's something that's pretty raw. I feel like he holds himself responsible when he really shouldn't, but I understand why. If you're in that situation, you probably would hold yourself a bit accountable, even though it's not his fault.
His fault. Yeah.
That was something, and that's peak. By the way, that's happening peak Hulkamania.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
I think it was right. Was it right before WrestleMania 2? Or some
Two.
shit?
Something like that, yeah.
Like he's still constantly wrestling.
Or probably
after, like,
WrestleMania
his
3,
brother
probably. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Like, but he's
That time period.
wrestling while his brothers fucking just died,
Mhm.
and he's still out there wrestling, and you wouldn't have fucking ever known it.
No.
You would have never known. We get to WrestleMania 3, talks a bit about that, how much Andre did for him.
Yep. That really cemented what WWE was to go forward, honestly.
Yeah. And we're getting a bit about. I mean, we skipped completely over WrestleMania 2, by the way. They're just like, yeah, he fought King Kong Bundy. Anyways.
Terrible mania.
Terrible mania.
Oh my God.
Bundy, dude.
Yeah.
So bad. But yeah, we're going like all that, and then we're getting into talking about WrestleMania 4, talking about Macho Man becoming the WWF champion, because Hogan was going to do what was the movie we covered? No Holds Barred.
No Holds
Barred, yeah.
And then we're talking all of a sudden.
He talks about meeting up with Donald Trump.
Which
there really isn't anything else in this episode. That will come up later on.
Mm-hmm.
We will very quickly cover that section, because this is a wrestling channel, not a political channel.
But still, though, it was quite interesting to see that actually happen in real time on the dock. Like, I don't think that's ever happened. Like,
yeah, you can literally see him meeting him for like the first time, and it's interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So then, yeah, we got that. We got WrestleMania going on, WrestleMania 5, and
at Trump Plaza.
6, then coming back, which they don't really cover. The one thing I would say is they don't really talk about Randy at all.
No, it was very quick.
I wish they talked about more. If anything, they buried
I feel like Randy was the, if Hulk Hogan was the Superman of WWF in the 80s, and Randy Savage is Batman.
Yeah. They do bury Warrior in this episode.
Oh yeah.
Oh fuck yes. Okay, that's another thing we have to cover. We get to the point where Hogan's like, I need to stop.
Mm-hmm.
I need to stop. By the way, Hogan, the entire time, we find out later in the doc, his knee is fucked. His knee is like legit fucked from the 80s till the 2000s when he gets a knee surgery. So this entire time he's wrestling on a bum knee. That's not good. No. So anyways, he needs a break. He wants to spend time with his kids. He wants to be at home. He wants to try acting as well. Right? He wants to pursue other things. So he says to Vince, I'm going to be leaving. So you need to find someone. And they decide, okay, we got the Ultimate Warrior, baby. And everyone fucking hates the Ultimate Warrior. Holy shit, they do not like
dude.
him. Everyone,
how much he didn't make any money.
By the way, Triple H, who was like because he's in the doc, he was like the nicest about it. He's just like, he just wasn't the best choice. That was the nicest anyone had anything to say about him.
Linda
and Hogan was like, and I think Hogan brought it up, and he was right. Like, he's someone that the fucking kids loved, but he couldn't be fucked to be there to sign autographs for kids.
Because they showed videos of Warrior doing signings. You could tell he didn't want to be there.
He didn't want to be there, and he looked honestly a little annoyed at being there. And it's like, yeah, if you want to be the face of the company, you want to be the big good guy in the wrestling company, you gotta be willing
to do that.
Gotta be willing to fucking sit there and sign. Like the kids, they look up to you, man. That's the reason why you have any fucking money at all. It's the reason why you're not tag teaming with Sting and fucking.
They covered that
George
too. Like they did cover that, which had me laughing. Was like when they covered like Hogan going, or not Hogan, Warrior going off on that fan. Even though that was later on, like a few years later after the fact, but still though, him going off that fan, and then came to find out it was a family friend of Vince and made him publicly apologize to the kid in gimmick.
Yeah.
That was just like, wow. But still though, but it's just like going back to Warrior, everyone, even though Warrior's been gone since what,
2014. He died in 2014. It was right after 30. It was right after 30.
So this guy's been gone.
He died like fucking 3 hours after he was on Raw.
Yeah. And like Hogan said they made up, but still though, he did, like, they went self-destruction mode on that part.
Linda went, like, Pritchard was probably the harshest sort of. Pritchard buried this motherfucker. Pritchard.
Well, Pritchard probably had to work with them the most anyway.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
They all did.
Yeah.
But like, him
even
going
Linda though, she didn't work with them. She was buried.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's just one of those things where it's like, the guy's dead. I understand. I know he was a piece of shit, but he was supposed to made up with all these people.
Yeah, we didn't need to go.
And then we're just like, by the way, like I get the whole thing. Honestly, Triple H handled it the best. He was not the best pick. He
Triple H handled it. And keep in mind, Warrior buried Triple H at 12.
Yeah. Well, Triple H buried him back in the day when he was the champ, when the whole DX run. But that's like, I think it's like age and like maturity. It's like, yeah, let's just move on. I know what he did, but just, it's not worth harping on.
But yeah, we basically get that, and like, within half a year, the title's on Sergeant Slaughter, and he is doing the Iraqi sympathizer
WrestleMania 7
with big homeboy General Adnan,
Iron Sheik,
who I believe did a wrestling show in Iraq and was told that because Saddam's people, by the way, Saddam showed up at a show in Iraq for wrestling.
Yes, he did.
And
that's a real thing.
And they told Adnan, he's like, well, you beat the giant. We want you to beat the giant. And if he beats you, by the way, Saddam thought wrestling was real. If we beat you, we're going to kill Andre the Giant.
Yes.
So Andre the Giant lost to General Adnan in Iraq. Because, they were gonna fucking kill Andre.
Threat of death. That's the threat of death. Like, this is and
on top of that, we're also and when Mr. T said that Iron Sheik was friends with Iraq or friends with Saddam as a kid, he meant General Adnan. But guess who else? Guess who else was in that fucking stable of guys that Sergeant Slaughter had? The Iron Sheik. So they brought Sheik back to be a part of it. I believe there was a tag match. SummerSlam with Hogan and Warrior versus. Oh, God, is it Adnan and Slaughter with Sheik on the side as a manager? I think that's what it was.
Yeah,
but. Yeah, we're getting to because then they pulled the title and put it on. They put it on Slaughter because it wasn't working, and they go over and talk about the Iraqi sympathizer gimmick stuff, and they said it was too much. We did too much.
It was too much.
Like They're basically saying we fucked up. We shouldn't have went.
They
that hard in the paint with it.
If you remember, that same year, Slaughter became a babyface again. Later that year.
Yeah, they quickly. I mean, they were getting a lot of.
It was a lot of real heat. Yeah,
a lot of real backlash. On top of that, it was so much that people didn't really want to go to the show. Like people say, oh, they didn't go and do in the Olympics Memorial Coliseum in LA. They didn't go there because of security concerns. Probably a little bit, but most of it had to do with. They went to the convention center because the tickets weren't selling.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't going.
And it wasn't a good program anyway.
It wasn't very good. I mean, they dropped it right away. It felt like it was a misstep. And again, we end up with Hogan with the title again. Which
Yep.
the guy did not
Back
want
to
to
where
be
we
there.
started.
And then, yeah. And then again, Hogan leaves. And then he comes back again at WrestleMania. Now, there's a lot of Hogan leaves for a little bit, is at home, and then he's like, okay, I'm going back. Or he films a movie. All right, I'm going back. We get
Yeah, because they talk about Suburban Commando, because you do get a little
Suburban
Christopher
Commando with Christopher Lloyd, who's in the doc.
Yeah.
Mr. Doc Brown himself is he's in the documentary, and he's talking about how, it was really great to work with him, but it seemed like his heart was more in wrestling.
Yeah.
But he was always super nice to everyone. He was always a pleasure to work with. Like, he just had nothing but glowing things to say about him. And well, then we get to WrestleMania 9. Oh boy.
Infamous moment.
I hope Mr. T comes back here. Oh god.
Yokozuna versus Bret Hart.
Versus Bret
if
Hart.
you remember,
Hulk Hogan does the "it doesn't work for me, brother.
Some people have called it Hogan in the
I
bank.
should be the champion."
Some people legit have called this Hogan in the bank. He cashed in as Hogan in the bank.
Dude, seriously. And this is something that, like, Hogan's just like, well, I should be the champion. I'm Hulk Hogan. Okay. Okay. I understand that logic, but we're also dealing with we're getting into the mid 90s at this point. Like,
yeah, 1993.
Like, we're talking about, like, Hogan was probably starting to get stale at 7.
Oh yeah, he was
like,
super
that's why
stale
the
by
tickets
this point.
That's why the tickets weren't selling.
And they
It
were
was
talking
stale.
about that. They were talking about how the character was getting stale.
Yeah.
And all that.
And they were like that, like, it's not working anymore. It's working a bit, but it's not the same as it was. Which, by the way, it happens. He becomes a veteran. He's not the hottest thing around. There's other people coming up. There's
Shawn Michaels is coming up at this point. Bret, obviously.
Which we don't talk about. I think we talk about Shawn for 5 seconds. He does not like Shawn Michaels. To be fair, I don't blame him. If I was him, I wouldn't like Shawn Michaels either. But yeah, we get Bret, and Bret's obviously pissed. Hogan says, well, I'm Hulk Hogan, fuck you. There's nothing, it's not personal, it's business. But, I mean, in a way it was. And it was a shit ending. Like, Bret is right. It's like, why would I tell you to go win the title I just lost? Like, wouldn't I just want to win that title myself? Why would Yokozuna cheating lead to Hulk Hogan getting a title win?
Yeah, I don't know how they did this. And yeah, and then Hogan tried to say, I wasn't being a dick. I wasn't aware, because Bret was talking about how it was when he first met Hogan here.
Yeah.
And he tried to say, like, oh, Hogan was kind of a prick to me. And Hogan was trying to say, I don't recall that.
But I'm sure Hogan doesn't.
Or he tried to say he was
but
high. I think he tried to blame it on that. Or I could have been high or drunk. I don't know.
Yeah, he was saying that, like, at WrestleMania 9, that Hogan was being a dick and wasn't talking to him. He's like, well, I could have been drunk or high. I'm like, you were high at WrestleMania 9?
That's what I'm thinking. But you were high at a show?
What? By the way, he said he quit doing, like, drugs minus steroids after his brother died. So this is one of the things where, like, the math ain't mathing here. This is one of those moments in the doc where I feel like he doesn't want to basically come out and say, no, I thought it was a better idea for me to be champ. Fuck you.
Yeah, he could have just came out and said that, because he tried to say, I was
literally
drunk.
is having a hard time saying I'm best for business.
Well, also too, this is where Hogan had his boating accident or whatever it was, parasailing, whatever it was. That's why he was wearing the glass head, the black eye.
Yeah, the black eye.
And why Brutus Beefcake had the mask.
Yep.
Because this was the really bad injury with Beefcake, where he
went. Yeah, that's what it was. He went parasailing, but Hogan, like, they were having jet skis, whatever, and the jet ski came up allegedly and hit Hogan in the face and blacked his eye. Now, there's rumors about that saying that Macho Man and him actually, had it out. And
Macho Man, he was riding the Macho Man jet ski and it hit him.
That's what they said. They said the night before. They said in the they said storyline. DiBiase and IRS attacked the night before. That's why he had the black eye. Now some people said that Macho went up there the night before WrestleMania and punched him because the whole Liz thing went down. But that's what they said allegedly happened. But they said Macho Man was playing up to it too. He's like, "Gee, wonder what happened to Hogan over there. I hope nothing really bad happened to him. He real bad day in the neighborhood of someone."
Who knows? I mean, who knows?
Like we'll never know. Both guys are gone
because he wasn't even willing to fucking fully admit that he just didn't want Brett to be fucking champion. He thought he was better.
No, and that's what
and he couldn't even admit that in here.
Well, remember,
this is what I mean by we got the most honest Hulk Hogan we possibly could, because he still just won't come out and say I'm best for business.
Yeah,
not even that I fucked up, because I don't think in his mind he feels he fucked up.
Well, that's what Brett always said. That's what Brett's always said. And we did a photo shoot with me doing a tug of war with the belt, and Vince was in the middle, like, "Oh man, who's going to win?" Because at SummerSlam it was supposed to be Brett and Hogan for the title, even though Hogan said no, that was never going to happen. That's why we had to call a meeting, and he's like, tell me what you told tell Vince, and then he told Vince, and Vince said to Vince to Brett allegedly, "Brett, that's what you thought you heard." And that's why I think it started the resentment too. And then the whole WCW part, because he came in and joined the NWO, and he said they buried the hatchet, and they got back together. And then when Brett came in and made more money than Hogan did, that's when Hogan had a problem with that too, because it's on WWE's Confidential show. It's like when Bret Hart made more money than anyone in the company, Bret was ecstatic. Everybody else like me, I wish I would have known, because I would have made more money. And that's when you see like Big Show saying, "Well, if people are dumb enough to pay you that money, good on Bret. That's not his fault. That's the owner's fault of the company." So
there's a lot of stuff with him and Bret where it's not.
And plus, Bret gave us one of the most memeable memes of this whole thing.
Yeah,
go fuck yourself.
That part was wild.
Yeah, it was.
He tried to say he was high. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and then we basically get Hogan,
the retirement angle.
Losing the title, right? To back to
he lost the title to Yokozuna.
Yeah, and then he's going back, and he's like, I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna be, stay home with the kids, and yada yada yada, and all that gaga.
Like Thunder in Paradise, and that's where episode 2 basically ends, and where 3 starts is in that period.
Yeah,
and we get to the point where Hogan's gone.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of retired. He's kind of not
hanging out with family. You see him like doing some stuff.
Hanging out with family, Thunder in Paradise, all that shit. And then when Eric Bischoff steps into the picture,
Yep.
And Eric says, "Come work for us."
Yeah, because Hogan stated before, he told Vince, "I'll never work against you. I just want to go retire and be with my kids." Yada yada yada. And I was gone for a while, so I don't know if you guys talked about the part where where Linda said that they were having another kid. By the way, I don't know if I was gone for that long for that part, but
yeah. I mean, we kind of didn't really cover the kids.
Gotcha. That was a wild statement.
This period has kids.
Yeah. But going back to like
there was also a thing of I'm trying to remember where it is, but during the steroid trial stuff, Vince kind of throws Hogan under the bus after Hogan testifies and saves Vince's ass from going to prison.
Yeah. That's why.
And Vince basically, or Hogan basically is like, "You're a piece of shit. I'll never fucking work for you again. You're dead to me." And that seems to be the catalyst of why he really went to WCW. It was a giant fuck you to
I'll make this company big just to spite you.
Yeah. And so, and also Thunder in Paradise was shit. So he's like, "Yeah, I'm not fucking doing that, bud."
Dude, I'm going that one though. There's some episodes of Thunder in Paradise I've seen. I'm like, I actually kind of like this shit.
You watch dog shit constantly, so of course you'll like that.
It's like a cheesy 80s show. Yeah, 90s show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cheesy 80s show that's happening in the mid 90s. That's the problem. But then we get Hogan showing up in WCW, and I'm fucking finally glad that someone uses the footage of the parade, and they're like, the parade was fucking cringe. Like, that was really bad.
Yeah,
Because
that was bad.
they always use that footage, and the fucking like fake reporters asking questions and stuff.
Yeah.
It's something that's bugged me for years. Because I'm like, this is so like astroturfed, and it's like so fucking cringe and like, ugh. And no one ever mentions it. They're just like, Hogan shows up and Nitro happens, and well, no, I mean Hogan shows up.
Yeah,
there's that shit, and it's
they
not.
Show the grizzly bears.
It works,
which was funny as fuck. They showed the guy walking with the grizzly bears.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And
Hogan
they're like,
did
yeah,
how
Hogan.
bad WCW was for a second, like at that point.
Oh yeah, they show RoboCop saving Sting.
Yeah.
They show Diamond. They show DDP and Scott Hall as well.
Yeah.
Which that was one of the better parts of WCW at that point, which is sad because that wasn't like, really that great either. But
but also too, a lot of people don't give credit for Ric Flair for facilitating the deal between Hogan and WCW, because if it wasn't for Hogan, or, Flair calling up Hogan, there probably would not have been a Hulk Hogan in WCW. And plus, two, before Bischoff took over, they tried to get Hogan there before, when Bill Watts was the booker there for a minute. And Hogan said the famous words, "I'll never work for Bill Watts," because what's his name, Mike Graham, Eddie Graham's son, was in the office with Eric Bischoff and all them, and he takes credit for getting Hogan too. So that's a whole nother story.
Everyone takes credit for Hogan. I think it's probably
including Greg Gagne too. By the way, sorry.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Everyone helped. I actually helped Hulk Hogan. I facilitated that.
I helped Hogan
on my mega yacht.
I wasn't even born.
Yeah, exactly. All three of us, we facilitated it in space. We went to space with Hulk Hogan. We went to the Martian lunar lander. No, it's not really a lunar lander if it's on a fucking planet, but hear me out.
Yeah.
And we signed a little deal. That also means I become the king of Sweden.
And the king of England.
That's part of it. So basically, it's just like, everyone takes credit for doing it, but in reality, it's probably a mixture of everything involved. I think the biggest part of it is Hogan wanted fucking revenge. He was fucking pissed.
Hatred for Vince at that moment. Yeah.
He's like, you fucked me.
Yeah. He saved Vince's ass. He really did.
Yeah. And then he got basically insulted for doing it. But anyways, we get Hogan in WCW, and they say, yeah, it worked for a month, and it was bad. It was just bad. Yeah. And everyone knows that. Every documentary says, man, WCW sucked there for a while, but then they got Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan, and everything was okay. But then Scott Hall and Kevin Nash came in, and it took it to a whole new level. No, it was not working. It was bad. It was really cringe. The Dungeon of Doom stuff fucking sucked. It's not hot. There's no Hulkamaniac here.
Me and Tyler watched that match. Oh my god, that was the worst thing ever.
It's really bad. And when we're going into Bash at the Beach, like a little bit before that, when we're getting like Scott Hall showing up, it's not great. The cruiserweights are really awesome.
Not at all.
But that's one match on the entire fucking show. I mean, for every Brian Pillman and Jushin Thunder Liger, you're getting like random like Lex Luger's gonna beat up this random fucking dude this week.
The previous year we had, the year before we had the Yeti humping Hogan with the Giant.
After he threw the Giant off of the stadium roof, killing him. Yeah,
the Hulk Cobo Hall. Yeah, just comes back like nothing happened. He's in gear. Just comes back out. Like I said, 95 is a very bad year because it was basically trying to make Hogan it was trying to appeal to Hogan because he's used to that cartoony wrestling stuff.
Cartoony 80s stuff,
And,
Yeah.
and that's why I think Kevin Sullivan was the booker at the time. He's just like, okay, look, Hogan, I'm not trying I'm not trying to get out here and get you. Like, I'm trying to make you trust me so we can do more things together. You know what I mean? Because look at the majority of the people.
And the problem with that is it ended up just fucking up the entire company until they decided to throw some weight around.
Mm-hmm.
Ted Turner really wanted it to make it work. He really wanted to be competitive.
Yeah.
And they started throwing money around, and then you get Scott Hall showing up randomly.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Kevin Nash.
You know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here.
Oh, and the famous words from Kevin Nash. Look at the adjective. Play. We're not here to play.
Play.
Look at the adjective. Play. Yeah, and so then you start getting Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. You get that awesome segment where they were at where was it? Disney, where they were filming?
Disney. Yeah.
Yep.
And they lawn darted fucking Rey Mysterio into the production truck.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, that was
Randy
wild.
Savage is running after the limo trying to jump through the sunroof.
Yeah,
fucking
dude.
Yeah.
Great. It was a great segment. I fucking love that segment. I
Yep.
sometimes just
That
put it on
segment is great.
randomly to laugh.
That shit's iconic,
But it
dude.
felt real. It was gritty now. And that was Kevin Sullivan booking that stuff.
And you have
because-
Jimmy Hart going in because he was a heel at the time. He's like, "Hey guys, come on! There's something going on in the back during a match."
Yep.
Yeah. It felt very real.
I mean, there was that
Very
one
different.
segment they did. What was it? It was like a 4-way tag match for the tag belts, and they come out. Hall and Nash come out with bats, and the cops have got their guns drawn. Like,
Yeah, like straight up hands on gun.
yeah, or firearm. I guess we should say. I don't know if we. By the way, YouTube AI, we didn't show nothing or said nothing. We just said firearm. Okay?
Anyways,
Yeah.
there was the whole segment where they had guns drawn and stuff, and it felt very real. Felt very like, ooh, like what the fuck's going on? And again, the whole thing going into Bash at the Beach was, who's the third man?
Third man.
Who's it gonna be? And
Bobby
Heenan may have ruined it. But honestly, I don't think most people believed it was gonna be Hogan, to be fair.
Yeah, at the
I
time.
feel like he was saying that rhetorically, and then it actually ended up happening, which is shit luck. But then I mean, or he just wanted to blow up Hogan's spot, but it didn't really.
It did.
It felt more like authentic to Bobby Heenan being like, "Nah, he's gonna join him. He's a dickhead. I hate him."
I love how Cody was the one who set it up, the Bash at the Beach moment.
Yeah, and then you get it where Hogan's over at the corner after he scares off Hall and Nash, and then he just fucking drops Randy.
Drops the leg.
Drops the leg, and the fucking trash starts flowing. The booze, the fat fuck who tries to fight, and then Kevin Nash stomps his fucking head
Beats the
in.
fuck out of him. You get the promo from Hogan.
The promo from Hogan, which is fucking great.
Still iconic.
Great promo. And Hogan just being like, this is gonna work. Like I'm okay with this. I'm okay with being a heel. People don't like me, then fuck you. You're gonna hate me.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, it was fucking insane. We get into the NWO stage, and it's fucking huge. It's really fucking huge.
They really hype it up.
Maybe not Hulkamania huge, but pretty fucking close.
Pretty big, because you see him. They show him winning the title, and this is weird because this is no more behind the scenes stuff. You just see him with his family with the title. You would think he's like a baby face with his family with the world title. He's chilling with his family with the belt. He's a heel, and they really go into how cool he was, how over it was.
Yeah, you see Rodman hanging out with him.
Yeah,
there's a lot of clips of Rodman actually. That's kind of funny. But I guess they were friends, right? So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're getting that whole. You go through all of his stuff in WCW. Not all of his stuff actually. They actually kind of skip over some WCW stuff, like a lot of it, like the really bad stuff. There's no Russo talk. I don't believe.
Well, yeah, there is because they didn't go into detail, but they talk about the high and the low of the NWO, and then like in Hogan, like
They just say it got real bad at one point. That's it. That's all they do. Like they gloss over WCW. I don't know why.
I think it's because one of those things. It's been talked to death. It's just like people know. We'll just move on, maybe I guess. But like, yeah, well, they did mention Bash at the Beach 2000. They mentioned that Hogan left and like he was depressed because WCW got bought out by WWF, and he's like, well, I'm out of the wrestling business. I'm not gonna do anything else anymore. So I'm just gonna enjoy, I guess, somewhat enjoy retirement, I guess. But like,
he couldn't enjoy it because he was banged up and injured.
Which they didn't talk about. Sorry, Green, I didn't mean to cut you off. They didn't talk about it though. But before he went back to WWF and got the call from Vince, he was working for XWF with Jimmy Hart down there in Universal, I think.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
So we had all that, but then like he's just like, I was surprised because I got a phone call from Vince. Vince called me up and he's like, oh, so you do want to realize that I was a big deal with the NWO and stuff like that, what I did in the WCW. And that's when they worked together and they say no. They brought back in the NWO, the WWF.
Set up the Rock
worked
match.
out for a little while.
Even though Vince bought WCW, should have brought Hogan in and everybody else in between for
right away. He should have attempted. I mean, you wouldn't have gotten everyone. I feel like someone like Kevin Nash would have just sat there and
no, because those guys are getting paid by AOL, Time Warner, and they're like, we're getting paid regardless if we show up or not. So it's like, and Vince would want them to come in. They, obviously Vince would want them to restructure their deals to accommodate the WWF. To do so,
would have made so much fucking money. It would have.
He would have. But also too, and those guys are not going to take the pay. They're not going to take the pay cut.
The pay cut.
They're going
to take their they'd rather stay home. So they stay home.
And
so
then
they
bring him
back.
Yeah, so they bring Hogan back, and they kind of go right into
the Rock match. I wish they talked about Rock. I wish they talked about the Austin stuff, like how they were almost going to do that initially. It was supposed to be Austin and Hogan.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. It was supposed to be Austin and Hogan at 18. But either guy didn't want to take a...
They didn't want to do the job.
They didn't want to do the job, so they just went into the Rock stuff.
The only time that we got Hulk Hogan versus Steve Austin was one of the go-home episodes of Raw in a tag match against NWO.
Yeah, and they barely interacted, though. But I don't feel like they interacted that much in that match.
Hogan,
they did a bit. Yeah, it was. I think you'd be surprised watching it back how much.
I think Steve got into Luthez press on Hogan. I think in one spot.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, okay, I remember that.
Yeah. So, but going back to what we're talking about, like Hogan's like talking about how The Rock, which I was surprised that he didn't talk about how The Rock wanted to rehearse the WrestleMania 18 match. Obviously, I was surprised about that.
Yeah, and it seems like this match means a lot to him.
Yeah,
like, it was like wow, they really do love me. Like he's like fucking.
It was his homecoming to the WWF. Honestly,
it was this Sally Fields at the Oscar moment.
You like me?
Yeah.
You really like me?
Do that.
Yeah, that's basically what it was.
Yeah.
How Hogan basically turned face mid-match.
Yeah, they do talk a bit about that.
And I
feel like this is one thing they focused on that has been talked to death. I feel like everyone always talks about Hogan and The Rock a lot.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where they could have mentioned it because they don't really talk a fuck ton about like WrestleMania 6, for instance.
No.
It's also talked about a lot. They kind of like talk about it a bit and then move on. But this is one where I think they could have done that because people talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Especially Mania.
Then we get kind of a really quick. We get really quick through the rest of his WWE run
career. They talk
very
about
quickly, like
his match
10 seconds about Shawn Michaels, nothing about Edge and the tag titles, no Mr. America stuff.
Yeah,
they only talked about Vince at 19, and that was it. They didn't talk about the after.
Well, they didn't talk about after the fact too. After the whole Vince feud, they didn't talk about Mr. America and how Hogan left and was pissed why he wasn't at WrestleMania 20. and he was in talks with TNA, going to be a part of TNA to wrestle against Jeff Jarrett, because Hogan went to Japan when he left WWE. WWE
Yeah, he did.
in late
Yep.
2003, early 2004. He went back to Japan.
They didn't
And-
talk about his one-off with the Big Show at all.
Oh, the one
That's later.
Yeah,
That's later on. But that's basically where episode 3 ends, is at that
Yeah.
point. And then we get into episode 4, which is the
Terry
fuck
Divorce
episode.
Yeah.
Holy fuck! 'Cause, yeah, this is where we get into mainly his divorce with Linda.
Oh yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And
So we
boy,
get into it. Hogan decides he's going to retire after all the injuries. Kind of feels depressed. Kind of feels like shit. But he
Mhm.
gets an offer to do a TV show, and he thinks that maybe the solution to his marital issues is that if they work together on something, that can help solve it, as opposed to him just going to work and then coming home and being banged up and hurt and tired and stuff.
Mhm.
And they go over this. The show was a fucking shit show. It fucking
Hogan knows
ruined their
best.
family. Like, complete.
Hogan
Hogan knows best. Basically, it's like, it ruined my fucking family. Like, the whole
Pretty
thing.
much.
I was trying to do the right thing. It did not work out. Nick Hogan says something, pressing X to doubt, where he's like, they wanted to make me out like I'm real childish and all this and that. And I'm like, not to dwell on like the whole car accident thing.
Mhm.
He was pretty childish,
Yeah.
immature. And 'cause, like, that, I don't feel like he was playing it up. I feel like it's something where he's grown up, but he's embarrassed about it.
yeah,
Rightfully so. And so he just kind of is like, well, that wasn't who I actually was. Pulls a Hulk Hogan, basically. Hogan does know best.
I don't recall.
I don't
recall.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of that. They talk about Brooke Hogan and stuff. She's not in the doc. Obviously, she fell out with her family.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we get to the point where, like, during the show, it's just like, yeah, they realize they're getting a divorce. And
because you see them arguing, because they do show clips of them, like,
there's a lot of, they show them at marriage counseling and like stuff.
Yeah.
And then you get to the point where, like, they get divorced. There's some okay. I'm gonna cover this part because I have to say it very, very coded, like, because of YouTube's reasons.
Bullshit.
Yeah. And so then we're gonna mention it. We're gonna move on from it, but it is something that's wild and kind of shocking. Linda ends up dating one of the fucking classmates to Nick Hogan, like one of the kids in his class,
because he lied about his age. Because they mentioned that he lied about his age.
Yeah.
And
By the way,
also-
he was above 18, of course. But this part, boys, I'm gonna talk about it. We'll just cover it real quick and then we'll move on. So I'll just say it quick. No one else say anything here for this part because we got to be very, very careful about this thing.
No good.
So basically, Hogan has to move out. He moves down the street into a apartment, and he's on the lake. He's on the waterfront, but his wife is still there. She's got the boat. She literally is like coming over to where his apartment is with the fucking boat that he bought with her new boyfriend, gloating it into Hogan's face to the point where Hogan starts contemplating self-deletion. That's what we're going to say. There's at one point where he has a water pistol in his hand and contemplates self-deletion. That's all we're going to say on that. Like, he's in a bad fucking place. Eric Bischoff comes down and says, comes in to check up on him because he's worried about him, and says, why don't you get back into wrestling? And Eric Bischoff really fucking regrets that. He feels terrible about it later on. But that's when we get Hogan's TNA run.
Oh. Yeah. they make it like the way they frame it. You would think TNA saved him because we forgot to mention the reason him and Linda got a divorce is because Hogan hooked up with another woman.
Yes.
And it got found out.
Yeah.
And he also said something else.
Yeah, let's.
Certain,
Yeah.
We're not
football
going to
player.
cover
I
that
won't
one,
say
but
it.
yeah.
I won't say it, but yeah. So he gets the thing at TNA, and man, it may have saved his life. It didn't save TNA.
No,
No, could not. He made a good bit of money off of that TNA deal, I guess, and that was good. And we really don't talk about TNA for very long at all. It's skipped over almost completely. It literally goes from that to being like Jeremy Borash being there and being like, I was there and Hulk Hogan was in the room with me. And this is my Jeremy Borash impression, by the way. And he told me that all of a sudden his sex tape leaked online. So yeah. And then so then
we get that stuff.
Sex tape leaks. Part of it, not all of it.
Not all of it, just part of it. And that's where we get the Gawker trial.
This is like what, 2012?
2012. Yeah, 2012.
The full thing leaks later with Gawker. Basically, that leaks. Kind of a blow to the ego a bit. Then he's retired from TNA. He's gone back to WWE as like a part-timer
ambassador
type of role.
He just comes in every now and then.
It's
look, brother, vitamins, and he cuts a promo.
Yeah, it's a contract where he shows up every once in a while, cuts a promo on Dean Ambrose, and they sell Hulk Hogan t-shirts. That's it. Like that's basically what it was. And then it comes out the full thing. The full thing comes out. Yeah. And that's the whole thing with him saying the N-word. And WWE drops him. Triple H is there, and he's like, I had to make that decision. I felt terrible about it, but I had to do it. So he just owns up that he did it. I guess that's admirable. And then it gets into
his canceled life. Him getting a new girlfriend or a new wife, basically.
Well, no, we got to go into the thing where he bankrupts Gawker.
Oh, bankrupts Gawker. Yeah, it's where the full trial.
Fucking bankrupts them for an invasion of privacy. Even though they were claiming that it was freedom of speech, which, by the way, it isn't. But that's why they lost. And so, yeah, that happens. He's in a pretty low place. He runs into this girl at a signing, and then starts dating her. And that became his third wife, I believe. They completely skipped over his second wife.
Yeah,
they skipped over her real quick. Yeah,
I've heard rumors that they signed an NDA with her, so don't know.
So they couldn't. Yeah, okay. Yeah. But either way, you get to his third wife, his wife he had when he passed away.
Yes,
Final Wife.
Sky.
Final Wife sounds like a wild film. But yeah, I mean, yeah. So then she ends up getting him to go to church, and he gets rebaptized. Then we kind of skip over more. We skip over more. Then we get the whole stuff with Trump, which this is not a political channel, but either way, showed up at the RNC, ripped his shirt off. I'm a Trumpomaniac, dude. And then
they talk about the aftermath.
And then we get
that.
we get more signings.
Real American Beer.
A little bit about the aftermath, but they didn't focus on that a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then
American
we get
beer.
That was about it. Do we even get the? I don't even think we got the whole. Oh no, we may have gotten a bit about the LA thing, but
we did. Yeah, it was showing up the
it
was showing up with him going the day.
But I don't think he was interviewed because they had already filmed his interviews. Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was asked. They asked him how he felt.
It's the whole thing about how like he's a great heel or whatever, and they love to.
Yeah, he said that. So everyone like close to like Jimmy Hart and like Triple H. Triple H said he knew. Triple H did it a diplomatically way, saying, "We know we're going to a blue state in California, and we kind of figured it was going to happen with Hogan because it was so fresh off the RNC stuff like that.
It's right after the election,
right?
So, yeah.
And that's what Jimmy Hart said too. Which Jimmy Hart was dropping some curse words. Where I was like, wow, Jimmy, I didn't think you dropped those bombs.
Yeah, I didn't know you talked like that, but okay.
Yeah, but like,
dude, Jimmy Hart's an actual G. Don't you ever doubt my boy again.
So that happened, but like he told, like, they asked Jimmy, so do you think it hurt Hulk? And he's like, oh yeah, it hurt him. It hurt him personally. And then when they asked Hogan, he's like, nah, brother. Said if I was able to walk, able to work, he said I would have sold that place out. We could have done an angle with somebody. I could have been another heel one more time and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the hopium of like, no, dude, I got one more in me.
Yeah, and
the wrestler being like, I got one more in me, dude.
But they do show him going to New York after, and like all the people in the city are like happy with him, which because they kind of were trying to do that.
Yeah, which also New York City is also a Democrat area, which is why when this happened, I said it wasn't political. It was
just everything.
It was based off of people's personal feelings.
Yeah,
that's what it was, and. Then that's basically where it ends.
Well, then they asked him the question too about his family, which is like really surprising to me. There's like, was there anything you can go back and change? And he's like, yeah, I wouldn't have gotten divorced and I would have retired at WrestleMania 18 and called it a career.
Yeah, and he would have spent more time with his family. He wouldn't have done Hogan Knows Best, he said, and he wouldn't have. He wouldn't have kept stuff, and he would have spent time. Yeah, he would have spent time with his family, which is fair.
Yeah.
And then Hulk Hogan gets up, and I think that's the end of the doc, guys. Nothing else happens. Oh wait, yeah. So then 3 months after they had filmed that, he passes away.
Yeah.
They go back and start refilming with everyone. Some of the stuff is like the day it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, WWE camera crews. So like you're literally like talking to Bruce Pritchard like
as it happened.
After it happened.
Yeah,
and because they were setting up for the SmackDown, right? Because they were doing the 10-bell salute because they actually played the 10-bell salute. And before that, Jimmy Hart, man, that was kind of hard to watch to see him like that, just because
that
obviously
that part was. That was hard.
Yeah, when he was talking to like Brian Blair, Ted DiBiase, Sergeant Slaughter, and Brian Blair is just there, just like can't believe what's going on, and like it kind of choked me up a little bit. I was like,
same,
not like crying, like straight up bitch mode crying, but it was like, man, that's tough to listen to. Like he's like,
yeah, because you're hearing his voice, man.
Jimmy saying no, he's up there in heaven there, Brian. He said he's up there with Gene, and he's up there with Andre, and they're working an angle problem and stuff like that. So we'll see him again soon there, buddy. I was like,
yeah.
Oh damn.
We also get like I guess a confirmation of how Hogan passed away. He had to have neck surgery. There were complications that led to him having cardiac arrest, so his heart stopped. He had a heart attack.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's such an invasive surgery, and his wife was like, I wish he never got the surgery because he'd still be alive.
That was kind of hard to watch too. That was kind of hard to watch.
Yeah, that's tough. Even Linda was real.
She was broken, heartbroken.
Yeah. And let's not forget,
she's like, she was like, I still loved him, he's that stuff. Nick was pretty hard where he's in the gym.
Yeah.
And let's not forget though.
The doc starts with him working out with his dad in the gym, and then it ends with him just there by himself. That's
We know what, Linda could have really buried Hogan too, because let's not forget, before he passed away, when Linda was like pleading to get back with Hogan before he passed away, there was that clip of them eating popcorn, Sky and Hogan, and making fun of her video. So I mean, really, if she wanted to come in here and just bury Hogan,
that was.
He probably would have been in the right.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
No, but she didn't. I think, that showed a lot of class.
But then we get like footage of Hogan's funeral. Like we see everybody there from we see like Kevin Nash. We see Kevin Nash is there. We see the Big Show. We see Rodman showing up, just wearing the same stuff he wore at the Hall of Fame.
We did not see Shane McMahon or Matt
Riddle.
Which, if you know the story about them fighting at his fucking funeral, then
and then Brutus Beefcake getting kicked out of the funeral too.
You hear Vince.
The only time we see Vince in the entire documentary, he wasn't interviewed. They took old clips of him.
A voiceover,
voiceover,
is him speaking at Hogan's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that had already come out like a while ago. Or
Yeah.
like,
And then that's it. That's really
Yeah.
the end of the doc. It just ends with Nick Hogan in his dad's gym.
Yep.
yeah,
That's it. Which is how it started. It started with Hulk and Nick in their own gym, and yeah. So
Yep.
it's
Full circle
Yeah.
moment.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. But
I-
yeah, I mean that's the Hulk Hogan documentary. Again, there's there's little stuff we left out. It's definitely worth a watch.
yeah.
We did the best we
They're
could
not-
from
It's
memory.
not
Yeah.
super long. Not really that
To be honest,
long.
we did watch this like a week ago. I probably should have watched it more.
Yeah, I told Cream and Trey I watched this the first day it came out. I started at 12 o'clock, like noon, and I finished it that night. Like it's legit like a 4-hour like.
You're a
doc series.
Hulkamaniac.
4 hours. Yeah, about 4 hours.
You
yeah.
want to be a
again-
Hulkamaniac. You want to have fun with your family and friends. By the way, we should mention that every single episode ends with a song from not his
Hogan's
good
record.
album, but
Yeah.
his really like kind of rough album where it was not good. It's not a good
Yeah,
album.
I want to be a Hulkamaniac. We had one. He's a real American from his WCW theme.
I was very worried. Well, that's on the album with it. I was very worried the last episode was going to end with Hulkster in heaven. And I felt like that would
Oh,
be
God.
tonally very bad.
yeah,
Luckily,
Yeah.
it does not.
but I think we'll give our rating, and I think we should get out of here. So
I thought it was pretty good, man. Go guys, go watch it if you haven't. It's on Netflix.
Yep.
It's worth a watch.
I'll give it, if I would number it, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. It's probably the best wrestling doc in a minute. Heavily recommend.
yeah, I give it a 9 out of 10 myself. But yeah, if you have Netflix, definitely go check it out. Judge for your own. Tell us what you think in the comments section below, because I genuinely do want to see people's reactions to that. Because like I said, some people love it, some people hate it, some people are saying it's very left out in detail. But if you were if you know what you're talking about a little bit, you can definitely tell. Okay, then they took this out, didn't mention that, yada yada yada. But I do think it was a good doc.
Yeah. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time we bid you adieu. Thank you, everybody, for watching the stream. It's been a long one. We usually don't go this long for streams, unless they're like watch along or watch parties types of things. Please like, share, sub if you get the chance. It's pretty easy. It's free to do.
It's free.
All three for free. You don't even have to pay us for that.
FRWE.
You should give us your money.
Yep.
But you know
But
what?
you don't have to.
You don't have to, but we would definitely appreciate that.
But I
That is
want your
for
money.
sure.
Give me your money.
Give me your money. I need your money.
Yeah. So, anyways, thank you everybody for watching. Mr. T Trade, you got anything you want to shout out? Want to promote before we get out?
Reviewing The Boys. Originally, we were going to do Pirates 2, but since we didn't have time to watch the movie this week, we're just going to do a little quick roast shill stream. Probably won't be too long tomorrow, but
we did cover the new Michael Jackson movie on that said channel, which, by the way, it's a really good film. So highly recommend watching that over there on that channel. If we can get someone to drop the link, that'd be amazeballs. But yeah, really nothing to really promote besides, thanks for the House Hulkster. And I guess we're going to get out of here. So until next week, you know what?
You got to mention the name of your channel, bro. Come on.
Yeah, reviewing with the boys. Let me, let me drop the link real quick. Let me drop the link real quick before we head out here.
You can drop the link. Well, before
What do
you
you
go,
got to promote,
make
Cream?
sure you go check out Gronking on Dogs. We're going to be live tomorrow. We're going to talk about whatever the heck's going on in gaming. I don't fucking know at this point. But we will see. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching. And
Hogan must
get out of here.
Hogan must
get out of
pose.
here. Yeah.